I mean, God, the Minnesota sports social media is like, this is the greatest night in Minnesota sports history. I'm like, well, let's pump the brakes on that. But hey, you know,
I mean, the Twins did win the final game a couple of times. I mean, but
yeah, I was going to say I'd have to go back to like October 1987 maybe for that. But
I don't know, Jack Morris. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
But this century,
yes,
sir.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yes, and we're a quarter of the way through the sucker. So,
yeah, and then a few people had to throw in, and the Twins won last night too. Wow,
that's true.
But Steve Eisman, whatever you do, don't give up the prospect they wanted to get Quinn Hughes, because he wouldn't have been worth it.
Oh my God,
he's so good.
He is something.
Man, is he is so fun to watch. He is so fun to watch.
But like the Wolves, they're probably in over their heads.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Really?
You know,
that like power play is. I mean, look at is McKinnon better than whatever the Casper, the friendly ghost there?
Yeah,
Kaprizov.
Yeah,
I mean, is he better? Okay, yeah. I mean, but is Makar better than Quinn Hughes? Maybe by a little, but I mean.
He's not defensively.
Minnesota's. Boldy. I mean, they've got answers on that team.
And Rick, both teams have interesting goaltending situations that, you know.
Go do what you did against Dallas. Get one in Colorado and shift the pressure.
Yep.
I mean, I think
I appreciate your optimism.
I think Colorado's better, but I don't think this is a predetermined done in 5 or 6, if you know what I mean.
Plus, you got some puck luck against Dallas, finally.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on not just a Friday, but the first day of May. The Kentucky Derby is tomorrow. Thanks so much for being with us. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton. On X. Terrific little sports night once again. Wow, April's playoffs were, man, oh man, what a 2 weeks we have had in the playoffs, and to think that we get 6+ more of these suckers, man, I hope it's just as good, but it's got a lot to live up to. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm good, but you know we do get started with 3 game 6s in the NBA tonight. We've got a couple more in the NHL. So we had 6 game 6s to begin the month of May. I mean, everything you said is true, but may I present the case of the beginning of May? And for a few of us, for the first time ever, you know how much I love the Derby, and I always struggle middle of the day, picking up the kid, doing different things to get to the Oaks. NBC's throwing the Oaks on in prime time tonight for those of you that want to watch a little racing. And I think that'll probably lead right. Well, no, ESPN's got the hoop tonight, so they don't have it. But it's a terrific sports night to begin the month of May. A signature event going on in golf for those that are in. Obviously, we're in baseball season, so May picks up right where April left off with 6 game 6 and a couple of other interesting sporting events going on. And the death of Liv, David. People are doing the happy dance. And we've got plenty of time to talk about a lot of things. But you and I have probably talked more Liv golf than any other national, regional, local show that there is in the country. That's a non-golf show. You and I have been on it from the beginning. We were fascinated by it. We did not hold any ill will towards the players who went. And I mean, the golf world, the sports world, these guys have been the biggest pieces of scum. I mean, they make the Philadelphia Flyers. They don't wear the moniker of scumbag hockey. It's live golf. And they are people, and it's not just Brandel Chambly. I mean, people are dancing on the grave of the live tour since yesterday when Piff announced that they're done. Something we've known for a while, but it became official yesterday. And all of the signature events, all of the changes of the PGA Tour, no one mentions any of that.
Well, Mark, isn't that the irony that they're, and hey, quote, they won. They're doing a happy dance. I get it. Do you know what the PGA Tour is doing this week? They have a signature event with the purse that's $20 million. PGA Tour 5 years ago never had a regular tour event that had a purse that was half this. Okay. Do you know how many people are in the field this week for the PGA
70,
Tour
David.
event?
70.
72. Right. Yeah. I'm
Is
sorry.
there a cut in that event?
As a matter of fact, Mark, there's not.
Oh, okay.
Right.
In fact, I watched a good chunk of it yesterday because there's nothing on during the afternoon. So I had the golf on until the hockey started. And Jason Day had a rough day at the golf course. Rough day at the office. I think he was 4 or 5 over, something like that. And you know what they said? Well, there's no cut in this event, so he can come up tomorrow and he can work on some things and get himself right. I mean, they basically said, don't compete tomorrow. Just work on your game. Oh.
Right.
Huh.
So, right.
Huh.
I'm just the irony. But yeah, they took the money. Yeah, we said 4 or 5 years ago, they're leaving to take the money. You know why? Because they think they should be playing for a lot more money on the PGA Tour. And guess what? They turned out to be right, because guess what the PGA Tour did? Went out and got a whole bunch of money to give away to the players. How about that?
Now, for every player not named John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau, and maybe Cam Smith, it is going to be very difficult for those players to ever earn their way back on the tour. And I guess that makes a lot of you happy, because they are going to stick it to those guys. There's not a doubt in my mind that everybody not named Rahm and DeChambeau, and like I said, maybe Smith because of the major thing, they're going to stick it to them. They are.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask all of you, and I'll ask you too, David. Miller and Moulton starting tomorrow could be 6 to 9, not 6 to 10. I know it is in a couple of markets, but for us, we still work 4 hours. I'm going to pay you 5 times as much as you're making right now. Whenever you have to travel, we're going to pick you up at your house in a limo and take you to the airport. And we're going to pick up your wife and take her too, so you can travel with her. Are you going to tell me no?
Well, it was all about where the money was coming from. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, I got you. But I don't know why golfers have to carry the water for the morality of the entire world. We can dig into what certain places and where money's coming from in a lot of different things. And I guess we're okay with that.
Well, the other thing was that golf was already in bed with Saudi Arabia. The DP World Tour had their season-ending tour championship in Saudi Arabia. They had the event before that in Saudi Arabia. Rory's won it like 5 times. All right, and it was okay playing there. It was fine. But it was okay taking their money once or twice a year. It just wasn't okay taking their money 15 times a year on a separate tour. Listen, they're never going to admit it. They're never going to admit it. Liv was right about a lot. The guys on the PGA Tour should have been playing for more money. Because it's funny, the minute Liv came into existence, what did the PGA Tour find, Mark? More money for the guys who were on tour. A lot more money. Hell, they went out and got private investment to the tune of $1.5 billion. So I guess they agree. These guys should have been playing for a lot more money. Thank you, Liv. Because it doesn't happen without it. It doesn't happen without it. Don't kid yourself. You know, these signature events, and there's up to 8 of them now. Okay, nothing like this. They didn't have events where their best event was half this. And it was a full field, by the way. It wasn't 72 guys. Okay, thank you, Liv. No, they're never going to say that. Okay, here's the other thing. Live in about 5 markets around the world. Pretty big deal. The rest of the world was like, oh, God, we don't see you guys anymore. Thank God you're here. Okay, and the DP World Tour is now going to take advantage of that, i.e. the PGA Tour, because they're running it. They're not going to say thank you, Liv. Now, the team golf thing didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Didn't
And
work.
we never thought it would. I
No.
mean, I'll be really honest. You
Nope.
and I never thought it would ever work.
No.
Didn't like it from day one.
Nope.
Said so.
Yeah, nothing about it we liked. We didn't agree. They were trying to do around the world, like, I guess, cricket or something. And we said it's not going to work. Also, you didn't know who was playing on what teams. To us, if it had any chance in the world, it had to be Team Bryson, Team Rahm. We have no idea who's on ace, 4 aces, strikers. What? Give me a break. I have no idea who's on what. Okay. So it will be interesting going forward. You know, will there be a path at all? Or, like you said, Mark, I think they're going to make, since Rahm and DeChambeau and Cam Smith and maybe one other didn't.
I think that's it, by the way, because they've got
Yeah.
the same basic rule that they did with Koepka. Pay a fine, a big one. You've won majors. Will allow you.
Well, I think it'll be interesting if they do that or if they make it be Patrick Reed. Like, I think they're going to have quite the debate internally, you know, because Koepka, when they extended the olive branch, he took it. The rest of them said no. And I wonder if they're going to make them pay with a year off tour by not accepting it. But
It's possible. It's possible. The DP World Tour will benefit.
Yes.
I would let them go play on the corn. I would let the rest of the guys go play on the Corn Ferry. I would. They're
And I
not
don't think
going
they-
to.
no.
But I would.
No, I think they're going to stick them on the DP World Tour. They're going to try to enhance that tour that way. Okay, by 2030, these guys can really play. To me, the other thing is, how quickly are you going to allow the 50-plus crowd to play on the Champions Tour? Also, something to remember, DeChambeau and Mickelson both sued the PGA Tour.
Well, and most people think, and this is the part of the story that I'm going to be most interested going forward. What happens to Phil Mickelson? I don't think he's going to get status on tour. I'm not expecting him to get status on tour. But the Champions Tour, I've said this a million times on this show, like they couldn't use Phil Mickelson out there to sell some tickets.
No doubt. No doubt.
So we shall see, but David and I have expressed our opinions on this, and we've also pointed out numerous times the changes that the tour has made because of Live Golf.
And I think the PGA Tour lucked out that they never finalized the deal with PIF. Because remember, I mean, what was it, 3 years ago on CNBC? I think it was in June of 23. The commissioner of the PGA Tour announced, sitting next to the PIF guy, that we've got a deal.
Right.
At like 10 a.m. on CNBC, and the whole rest of the PGA Tour said, what the hell is he talking about?
And why are they on CNBC?
Yeah, really. Well,
Derby
played, Mark.
weekend is upon us. The Oaks tonight. Kurt Becker, the voice of Keeneland, will join us in the 7 o'clock hour to preview the Derby and hopefully give us an Oaks pick as well. It's a Friday. That means Pat Kirwan will join the show to talk some football. But tonight, the Lightning, their season's on the line. David, I don't know if you buy into this at all, but because last night we ended up only getting one Game 7 with Philadelphia finally winning at home and taking the Celtics to a Game 7. Does that mean we have more Game 7s coming out of tonight's group of 6? And the Lightning sure as hell hope so. They've got to go to Montreal, and this series has obviously been incredibly tight, and the Lightning played poorly in Game 5. There's no two ways to slice it. Tonight, the season's on the line.
Well, 1 out of 5 in terms of we had 5 Game 6s. Now we'll only get 1 Game 7 out of those series. We have 6 series tonight in a Game 6. How many give us a Game 7? Miller and Moulton, starting 5 in 25 minutes.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So did you watch the Wild Stars last night?
Me? Yeah, watch the whole game.
So did you see Kaprizov's tying goal in the second?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you thought this, because that was not an easy play. The puck scooted by him. He had to kind of twist, off balance, stop the puck from getting past him and then get enough on it to put it into the open net. And I just thought, because remember the play Kucherov didn't make when he had the puck carry him over to him and he had a wide open net? And
different because it was bouncing off a rebound and it hopped over his stick.
Right. But I just, to me, one of those, Kaprizov makes that play, Kucherov doesn't make his play.
No, I see where you're going. I mean, to me, they were just the Kaprizov one. The Kucherov one was a harder rebound that jumped over a stick, as opposed to trying to find it. And those guys' feet and hands are so good now. But
I just
Kucherov can't score right now.
I just thought it was indicative of, because that was his 50th playoff goal.
My son was rooting hard for the Stars. I was like, really? He goes, I just won a Game 7. He's like, next to Tampa, Montreal, this is the next best series. I don't want this to end. I'm like, you know what? I can't argue with that.
It's funny. I was rooting hard for the Wild.
I was too.
Pick the
Mainly because I
Stars.
picked them. I don't care that much. I just want to be right at this point in my life.
Stars always seem to force a Game 7. No, Jets, you have no choice. I mean, you don't have better alternatives. Hey, I watched the Stanley Cup go bye-bye because Rick Nash couldn't put the biscuit in the basket, and he had 80 opportunities. Fuck, that's a great point. That really was. That was an NCAA women's first or second round game last night.
Well, I mean, I told you what I thought it was last night. It was Kansas against an NAI team in November. That's what I described it as.
Yep. That was unbelievable.
Phillies are back, baby. Here they come.
Nice
First
day.
time they've won both ends of a doubleheader since the 90s. Like
Nice day.
98 or something like that, I thought I saw.
Nice day at the office. What's the jerseys?
Last time the Phillies swept an opponent, it was the Mets, just in case you were wondering.
That's all right. The Phillies weren't that good in 98.
I think that's when they won both ends of a doubleheader. I thought that's what I saw yesterday. I'm glad you remember how the Phillies were in 98. I don't remember what happened in 2025.
Mets missed the playoffs by a game.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, the starting five, in a little more than 15 minutes time. Kurt Becker to preview the Oaks and the Derby in a little more than an hour. Today's the Pat Kirwan day. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So I'd like to think two guys combined who are about 116 years old, two guys combined who have spent 75 plus years in and around sports, following it, covering it, broadcasting it. And we're both pretty big sports fans on a nightly basis. That there's not much that can happen anymore that could flat out shock us, flat out get both of us to go, what the? I watched the first half of the first quarter of the Knicks-Hawks, and the Knicks got off to a good start. They were at double figures. And I'm like, oh, well, this is encouraging, but yeah, it's early. And then I got to admit, my mind was on Minnesota-Dallas hockey. I was all in. Mark Miller sent me a text at like 8:15 Eastern last night. Is that about right?
I'm double checking.
In which...
Yeah, it was 8:11 p.m. is when I sent it.
Okay. And I could have sworn the text said, now I wiped my eyes, I went and put cold water in my face. Okay, I started, going on my phone and changing websites and changing the channel. But I could have sworn you sent me a text that said, with about 4.5 minutes left in the second quarter of the Knicks-Hawks game, that the Knicks led 72-22.
And David, not only did I send it, but before I sent it, because I didn't watch a second. Well, that's not true. I watched a couple seconds of the game because I had to at that point. I've always said I use the score app. That's where I get scores. And
Right.
I'm watching the hockey. I didn't turn on the first quarter of the basketball. I had no interest in the basketball. I told all of you that. I don't care about the first round of the NBA playoffs. And this one's been the best one in over a decade. So I'm watching the game and they go to commercial break and I'm like, ooh, there's NBA going on. Let's check the scores.
Right.
And so I go to the app and I think I had baseball open because there was still some baseball going on. And I go to the NBA and it says 72-22.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that can't be right.
Obviously.
It's 22-22 or it's 42-22. Somebody just made a typo. And hey,
Right.
And I really am kind of laughing because my text was going to be, hey, the Knicks are leading the Hawks 42-22, and somebody at the score app had some fun and by mistake has 72-22 in. So
Right.
I turned the game on because I'm like, this cannot be correct.
Can't. It's
David,
impossible.
David, it was correct.
It was. I have a question. Was that an NBA playoff game, or was that the South Carolina or UConn women in the first round of the NCAA tournament?
Either that, David, or Kansas was playing an NAI school.
Right.
In early November, that
Yes.
warm-up game that they play.
Right. And Embry Riddle took one on the chin last night in Lawrence. Let me tell you, holy smackers.
And a buddy of mine texted me because we were going back and forth about the hockey. And he texted me, I think third quarter. A professional basketball team in the playoffs is losing 103-43.
Yeah.
They were down 60.
Yeah. And
In the second half, I happened to turn on the Hard Rock app because I wanted to see what the live line was. It was 50.5. How could you lose if you took a team plus 50.5? Well, that's how, because the Knicks won by 51 points in a playoff game. And the other thing that he pointed out, he goes, and there are still people in the stands. That's more nuts. And my only response was, do you know what those people paid for those NBA tickets? God forbid those of them that bought that on the secondhand market.
So you're a Hawks fan and you're staying because, like you said, I paid a lot of money for these tickets, And when they won those 2 1-point games, I may have bought a jersey or something crazy like that. So I'm going to stay. The funny thing is, Mark, the Hawks had a cute little season. The Hawks were in and they made a bunch of deals mid-season. They turned it around and, they had a good year. Hell, they avoided the play-in. Okay, they had a nice little regular season. They were up 2-1 on the Knicks, for goodness sakes. Yet, if you're a Hawks fan, do you wait around to the end and give them the golf clap round of applause? Hey, guys, nice effort. I mean, the scoreboard reads 140-89.
The good news is no matter when you left, there wasn't a lot of traffic coming out of downtown Atlanta.
Right. No. And most of the people left at the game were Knicks fans, but wow. Anyway, wild night in the association. A home team was losing by 61 at one point. Is this Sixers-Celtics series just bat blank nuts? Do you know the Sixers have lost 2 games in this series by 32 points? And yet they've just come back and won back-to-back games and forced a game 7? Holding the Celtics to under 100 in both games? Celtics are a high-scoring team. 32 points, Mark. 2 games they lost in this series. 2. Yeah. And by the way, no Anthony Edwards, no problem. T-Wolves 1-1 for the Gipper or Kevin Garnett or Flip Saunders or, J.R. Ryder. I won 1 for somebody last night.
I will tell you, the Sixers and the Celtics is why people like me boycott the first round. You can all tell me how great this series is. It's going 7 games. There's been 1 game that was less than 10 points for a finish. 1. You just pointed out the Celtics have won big, but game 2, the Sixers won by what? 14. They won game 5 by 16. They won last night by 13. There was 1 8-point game in this series. Knock yourself out, everybody.
Now, I will say in the last 2 Sixers wins, it was a single-point game in the fourth quarter. But, yeah, the final margin, winners have covered. That's for sure. Winners are 6-0 against the number.
Well, I don't know if the Sixers have been favored in the game.
Well, then there's that. But that's okay. Do you know Detroit's favored by 3.5 tonight?
Yes, I do.
Do you know Cleveland's favored by 3.5 tonight?
Not surprised.
Huh. Really? Those two teams on the road are 0-4 so far in the playoffs. They're both road favorites tonight. I don't know. I think I got to take some points. I think I might have to combo that too. I might have to get greedy.
Make sure you remind us of those bets later.
Okay.
You were right on Minnesota last night. You went out on one. I mean, of all the games, you asked me how many game 7s, and I didn't have faith of a lot of game 7s. You did not have faith that the Nuggets would get it done.
No. I got 2 right and 1 wrong last night. I liked Anaheim and I liked the T-Wolves, but I also thought the Stars would force a game 7. I'm glad I was wrong.
Quinn Hughes is pretty good. I'm looking forward to this wild series against Colorado. The starting 5 is next.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Puck, I wouldn't say hot. There were 5 game 6s last night. I got the winner right in 3 of them. So But I did take the T-Wolves when Denver was favored. I took Anaheim when everybody thought Edmonton would get it done. So, and I thought the Knicks would win, but not by 51. Well, fly panda fly. I hope it's a good game 7, but I mean, Celtics ain't changing how they play. They're going to shoot at least 43s. And remember, the Sixers have never beaten the Celtics in a playoff series unless either Wilt Chamberlain or Julius Erving was playing for Philadelphia. Spitz, I really like that bet for you. Was there any way you could just keep, I think it was 83-36, but is there any way you could just keep making bets in the first half?
Oh yeah, you can live bet
I mean,
and live bet and live bet. You,
golly. Could you imagine if you kept every time live betting, figuring the Hawks were eventually going to settle down and make a run?
I'm guessing there are people that did. You know, that's a single digit game, and at halftime it's 50 points or whatever it is. You're like, okay, they got to, you're getting value, if you will. My boy Austin, David, he is the concierge at the hematology department here at Moffitt.
Okay.
Austin's about $4 bills.
Ooh.
Would be Austin's not healthy, but Austin and I started talking the first time I went there. He is a big Miami Dolphin fan. Big. He is really upset that they did not take Bain.
Oh.
And he's comfortable with the rest of the draft. He's like, there's some guys I like. He was like, I've listened to a few podcasts. What do you think? Because every time I see him, I talk to him. He was not happy. I said, well, maybe we'll be wrong about Proctor. And he actually knows the team pretty well, but it's funny. I'm like, when I saw him after Thursday, I saw him in the hall Friday. I said, Proctor, huh? He goes, are you kidding me? Bain, right? He was so mad. It was so funny.
Which is so funny because you and I just wanted to, quote, play it safe with either Downs or the Penn State guard.
Well, he's from Miami. He's also a Kane fan.
Oh.
So, we have a little different perspective. He's like, you got a Kane right there. He's good. But
there's some lineman who retired a couple years ago who I saw quoted a couple days ago as saying, man, I am so glad I don't play anymore because Ruben Bain is going to be a pain in the ass for 8 to 10 years. He's just like, he is going to destroy people. God, I hope so. I want to take this short arms argument and just shove it up people's you-know-what. First off, they were debating whether or not they were measuring the arms right at the combine.
I don't know how you could measure them wrong. But
I didn't realize there was more than one way you could measure, but okay. Right. Like, man, oh man, we could just argue over everything, can't we?
My wife is taking my daughter and 2 of her friends on like a pool day Sunday. Not at our house. They're going to the Hyatt or the Hilton or whatever that Hyatt. I might go hit balls. I'm pretty excited.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Kurt Becker joins us 1 hour from now. He's been our horse racing guy for 15 years. He was with the Horse Racing Network when we started with him. He's been the only voice of Keeneland racing, if you will. Okay.
And he's got a great voice.
Oh, my goodness.
Particularly for the sport that he does. I mean, when I hear him, I'm like, man, I could really, really enjoy this at the track.
So Kurt Becker to talk the Oaks and the Derby coming up 1 hour from now. Pat Kirwan in a little more than an hour, all things NFL. Today is a big day in the NFL. We'll get to that and more with
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Well, we're starting with the NBA. Because if you're just joining us, everything I'm about to tell you is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Knicks played in Atlanta last night. They led 40-15 after the first quarter. They led 83-36 at the half. At one point, they led by 61. They cruised to a 140-89 win in the deciding game of a playoff series. Knicks advance in 6. Mark, here's what's most surprising to me. Even more surprising than you texting when the score was 72-22. Hello. So the 51-point margin of victory in a playoff game. Where do you think that ranks all time?
Well, you wouldn't be bringing this up if it ranked first. I know the halftime score was the largest lead ever in a playoff game. David, I can't believe it. Third.
And I tried to kind of use my voice to give you lead you along the lines of this was not number 1. It was not number 2. It was tied for 6th. Holy blank. There's been 5 other playoff games in which teams have lost by more than 51. Wow.
I mean, the Knicks nearly outscored the Hawks in the first half for the game.
Right. They lost by 6.
Right.
Man,
I do know in the first half, when I sent you that, the Knicks were shooting 71% from the floor.
I laughed because Brunson was 1 for 6 from 3. And I'm like, look at that.
Why are you shooting? Everybody else is making every shot they take.
Right.
Come on, man.
You still can't put the ball in the ocean this series. Look at you. And yet we're up 50. How about the Sixers? Huh? Given no chance by their home base. They had lost their 2 home playoff games decidedly to Boston. Not last night. Maxey with 30. Paul George. Hey, how about a Paul George sighting? He had 23. Sixers pull away from the Celtics 106-93. How about we play a game 7 over the weekend in Beantown, eh? Meanwhile, the series that everybody thought was going 7 because Anthony Edwards got hurt in game 4 and the T-Wolves said, not so fast, my friend. Jordan McDaniels, 32 points, 10 rebounds. And the T-Wolves, supporting cast, roused up in a big way. Minnesota 110-98 over Jokic and the Nuggets. Win the series in 6. Jokic doesn't seem like a trade me kind of guy. But let's be honest. Unless there's something bold in the future in Denver, is he going to compete seriously for a championship in the next 5 years? Probably the last 5 years of his career? Probably not. In the West, with OKC, San Antonio, never mind anybody else, and Denver is slowly getting worse. Jokic, by the way, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. Imagine what they'd be without him. What a great night in Minneapolis, St. Paul last night. The T-Wolves advanced to the second round of the playoffs when everybody had counted them out. And the Minnesota Wild won a playoff series for the first time in 11 years. 2-2 mid-third. Quinn Hughes scores his second of the night. Yeah, they got a break. There's a puck going wide of the net. Hit a star.
He had a bank shot. He liked pool. He played his angles. Don't be knocking Quinn Hughes right now.
I'm not.
My favorite player in the league right now. God, it's fun to watch.
I'm just saying he got a little puck luck. Nothing wrong with a little puck luck. You need it to win a Lord Stanley's Cup. He scored his second of the night mid-third to give him a 3-2 lead. Matt Boldy added 2 empty netters. And the Wild eliminate the Stars in 6, 5-2 the final. Colorado, Minnesota in the second round. Get your popcorn ready, baby.
Well, and I mean, what a reward for the Wild. As my buddy was texting me during the games, either of these teams could win a cup and they're playing in the first round. And I said, yes. And the winner gets Colorado. Good luck.
The Wild just beat the third best team in the regular season. Now they'll take on the best team in the regular season.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
they could win that series and end up with a team that made the playoffs on the last day of the season for the conference final. I mean,
right.
It is crazy.
Meanwhile, down goes Edmonton. Down goes Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl and company. Who beat them? The Anaheim Ducks. They scored 3 in the first, never looked back. Anaheim wins their first playoff series in 9 years. This quote is going to be talked about for a long time. Leon Draisaitl after the game. They were the better team. It's true. They were in the series. They are going to lose their minds in Western Canada over that quote. Lose their minds.
And David, let me give you a little nugget here. Connor McDavid will be 30 when the playoffs begin next year. Can I give you a list of some of the best players ever and when they won their last cup? We'll start with Gordie Howe, 27. He only played until he was about 90.
Right.
Bobby Orr, 24. Wayne Gretzky, 27. Mario Lemieux, 26. Sidney Crosby, 29. Alex Ovechkin, the exception to the rule, he was 32. So, Connor, my advice to you is get out of Edmonton now.
Yeah, Ovechkin is the one that McDavid has to look at because he won his first and only, in his 13th year with the Caps.
Right.
I mean,
Messier, no one thought they were going to at that point. I mean, really, it was kind of a foregone conclusion that he may never get his.
I think Messier was 34 when he won his last cup, but I'm with you, Mark. I am with you. So we got 3 Game 6s in the NBA and 3 Game 6s in the NHL tonight, including the Lightning facing elimination in Montreal. If you can't get them locally, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. By the way, I just have to say, how nice was it to have John Forsland on the Wild and the Stars last night? After putting up with what we're putting up with the 4-letter network, okay, how nice was that? Baseball. Mark, you called it. You said, listen, Braves won the first 2. They already won the series. Shouldn't we just throw money on the Tigers to avoid the sweep? Well, I hope you did. They scored 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th to avoid the sweep and beat the Braves 5-2. Speaking of sweeps, the Phillies, doubleheader, and they were losing in their last at-bat in both games.
In both games, right.
Scored 2 in the 9th to win game 1, 3-2. They were trailing 5-4 in the 9th in game 2, tied it in the 9th, won it in the 10th, 6-5.
Schwarber was down to the last strike for the Phillies when he got the hit to tie the game in the bottom of the 9th.
Orioles and Astros split a doubleheader. Baltimore hit 2 grand slams in game 1 to win 10-3. Wilson Alvarez with his league-leading 12th homer of the year in game 2 in Houston's 11-5 win. Hey, give it up to the Cardinals. They went into Pittsburgh and just swept a 4-game series from the Pirates and beat Skeens in the finale, 10-5 yesterday. They battered Skeens for 4 earned in 5 innings in the 10-5 win. Cardinals would be in the playoffs if the playoffs ended today. It's early. I know. Nats took 2 or 3 for the Mets. Who can't take 2 or 3 for the Mets? 5-4, CJ at Adams. I got to read my own writing. Abrams, 2-run homer in the 8th. Give the Nats the 5-4 lead on their way to the 5-4 win. Mets have lost 17 of 20. Minnesota, Byron Buxton homered for the 3rd time in 4 games. Think about that. T-Wolves, Wild, Twins, all winners. Wonder if anybody played that last night. 7-1 Twins over the Blue Jays. A's with 4 in the 2nd. Beat Kansas City 6-3. But Mark, little oddities. Nick Kurtz plays for the A's. He walked last night. That's the 19th straight game he's got to walk.
That's the 3rd best team in the American League, the Athletics, David.
And what are they, like 3 games over 500?
They're 3 games over 500. That's exactly right. Shh.
Yeah, we won't tell you. Sorry. Keep that to ourselves. Bad news for Milwaukee. Brandon Woodruff hurt. Otherwise, they hit the 13-run pool and a 13-1 win over Arizona. William Contreras 4 for 4 over the homers and 4 RBIs. And the Cincinnati Reds remain in first place. They beat Colorado 6-4. Nathaniel Lowe with a homer. It's the 5th time in 6 games he's homered.
20-11, David.
Yes, they are.
You just multiply that by 5. That's 155 with a few games left. I'm just saying.
Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong. You'll still be the 2 seed behind whoever wins the NL West. But, I mean, it's impressive. NFL teams have until later today to pick up the 5th-year options on those 2023 first-round picks so that this way you're picking up their contract for next season, 2027. Steelers said, not doing it for offensive tackle Broderick Jones. Bengals said, not doing it for defensive end Miles Murphy. Packers, in a bit of a surprise, said, yeah, we're doing it for defensive end Lucas Van Ness. Mark, in 3 years, he has 8.5 total sacks. And they just agreed to pay him $14 million in 2027. Wow.
I mean, I think the shocker of the whole 5th-year signing was what happened in Indianapolis. I don't know if anybody heard that or heard the news, but the Colts, wait for it, they did not sign Anthony Richardson to the 5th year.
Did you see the quote from the GM? Quote, I haven't really given it much thought. Unquote.
No blink.
That's hysterical. Browns broke ground yesterday on the 67,500-seat Dome Stadium in Brook Park, Ohio, which is about 15 miles south of downtown Cleveland. They hope to have the sucker ready for the 2029 season. I got the over, personally, but okay.
But that's not the story of the groundbreaking. Goodell was there and threw out the biggest tease ever. He said that the facility is Super Bowl worthy.
Told you.
Now, he didn't say the city was. He didn't say the hotels. But, he talked about they have to bring in 200,000 people for this event. But he threw the carrot out there for Cleveland, Ohio to get a Super Bowl. I'll be damned.
Ravens signed soon-to-be 40-year-old Calais Campbell to a 1-year deal. It'll be his 19th season in the NFL. Finally, golf, PGA Tours at Trump Doral in Miami. It's a signature event. It's the Cadillac Championship, $20 million purse. Cameron Young, your leader after the first round at 8 under by 1 over Spieth and Alex Smalley. 72 golfers in the field. Scheffler 1 under, no Rory. Back-to-back signature events that he's sitting out. He's legally, or by rule, he's not supposed to do that, but that's okay. He'll give up a few million to play whatever schedule he wants to play. Why? Because he's Rory McIlroy. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton.
I'm watching it, and Goddard up blows one so far left on, I don't know what hole it was, but so far left that he's next. He had to hit about I don't know, looked to be about a 50-yard wedge shot back to the green over the trees, but he was next to a Cadillac. Like they had a Cadillac, where it's not going to get hit by a golf ball. He
Right.
was right next to the Cadillac. And the announcer says, well, that's pretty good product placement there. No way the ball was supposed to be there. He did get up and down. Miller and Moulton. Kurt Becker will join us next hour. Pat Kirwan in a little more than an hour. Friday edition, May Day. Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't know, DC, because I'm not listening. I would have fired the Hawks coach at halftime.
Ha, 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 ha.
and Puck rise above the politics, who do you think these golfers vote for? They're all friends with him. All of them.
I was going to say most
They
of the
all
guys
play golf with him
I was going to say most of the guys in the field have played with him.
at least once. You want a golfer to rise above politics, let a Democrat run the White House and see if they show up then. This is a PGA Tour, man. This isn't the NBA.
Yeah. And hello.
I mean, they've all commented about playing golf with him.
Oh. Oh, commented how much they like him.
Yeah. It is a whole new level of an ugly orange. Like, I think in college football, I'm not a fan of Tennessee's orange.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I like Auburn's blue and orange.
Clemson or Tennessee?
I think Tennessee's worse, but I know where you're at. I'm not.
I'm just, just since
No.
you're going orange, right?
I'd take Clemson because of the purple. The accent makes it better.
Okay.
And maybe because Tennessee fans annoy me.
I have to admit, I'd like to go to a game at Clemson. I'd like to see it for a day because I've been, fortunately, to Neyland a lot.
I'd like to go to both. There's a lot of that I'd like to do. I'd like to go to both of those places.
But even last night, here I am rooting for the Ducks, and I'm like, these are the ugliest uniforms in sports. These are horrendous. I can't believe I'm rooting for this.
Padres?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Friday, the first day of May. That's May Day, right? May Day. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Kurt Becker later this hour. Oh, we'll talk some Derby. Come on, it's tomorrow. You haven't prepped yet? You don't know who's in the race? That's why we got Kurt Becker on. That's why we had Dick Girardi on yesterday. Who picked my horse? Yeah. And when I say my horse, I don't know a damn thing about the horse. I just like the name. How can I not bet a horse who has bourbon in its name in a race in Kentucky?
It is interesting that David, the guy who doesn't drink bourbon, is taking the horse with bourbon in his name. And he did it before I could say anything. And I'm the one who loves to swill bourbon.
Right. But you can't this Derby. For maybe the last time in your life, you can't this Derby. That's why I feel as if the horse has to come through for you, Mark.
This is awful to admit. But because of what's been going on with me, I will take a long hiatus from alcohol.
Right.
And I was talking to a buddy yesterday. And I know about when I had my first drink. I won't admit that because, well, it would really say a lot about me. But I can say with pretty much certainty that when I was a sophomore in high school, that's when we started to party a little bit.
Okay.
I had a friend who worked at Ingalls Market. We would go to Ingalls Market and get beer. I was 15. My buddy Terry Carpenter was 16. He had a car. Mark Van Boxler worked in Ingalls Market. We would go inside. He would take a couple of cases of Goebbels and put it in the trunk that was left unlocked, just barely open. Yes, we didn't pay for it. And so that's probably when I started drinking somewhat regularly at parties, having a few beers. 15.
Uh-huh.
I'm 56.
Right.
I've not taken this long of a break in 41 years.
Right.
Because I've not had a drink since December, and the odds are I will not have one again until February of 2027. That's a little embarrassing when I put it out there like that. And I was talking to a good friend who played junior hockey, and he's a couple years younger than me. And he said, yeah, I started playing junior, and he actually played with Billy Guerin. They're boyhood friends. And we were talking hockey yesterday. And he goes, yeah. And he said the guy's name that he was with in junior. He says, yeah, that sounds about right. 15. Yeah, hockey. It's what we did. And I'm like, yep, it's a pretty good run. At 41 years, that's a pretty good run, David. I mean, you know, LeBron can talk about his long run, Letang. I mean, these guys can all talk about their runs. 41 years.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put in a couple of shifts.
You have. You're just taking a sabbatical.
That's it.
That's all. You're taking a sabbatical. It's
going
necessary.
to write my memoirs. The ones that I remember.
Right. For those that don't know, Billy Guerin, GM of the Minnesota Wild, was also general manager of USA Hockey. He's the one who handpicked the roster, and got
a lot of grief for it.
Yes, he did.
Got a lot of grief for leaving Cole Caulfield and some others off of that team. Alex DeBrincat and some other players that people thought should have been on the roster. And he built a team, not goal scorers.
Right.
And then you know what? He won the gold medal. And then before the Olympics, he made a deal to get Quinn Hughes to play for the Wild and gave up some assets in order to do it. Quinn Hughes had 2 goals last night in the deciding game as the Wild move on. He's having a hell of a year.
Yes, he is.
He is having a hell of a year.
Yes, he is. Yep. Good for him. Good for him and them.
Yes.
He and they deserve it. And you and I, Mark, you and I are both fans of any general manager who will go for it.
Right.
All right. And, you know, you happen to have a general manager of your favorite hockey team who right now seems paralyzed and won't make a deal with any risk whatsoever and is clinging on to every young asset that he has. And Billy Guerin gave up some serious assets.
Right. And Quinn Hughes could have been in Detroit. I mean, it was really between the Wild and Detroit. And Detroit wouldn't give up what was necessary to get Quinn Hughes.
And there's no guarantee at all that in 2 years, when Quinn Hughes' contract is up, that he stays in Minnesota. I mean, the only way Minnesota has gotten free agents in the past is to pay absolute top dollar. But Billy Guerin said, we got a good team, and I think we're going to have a good team for the next couple of years. And you know what? Damn it, we're going to try to win Lord Stanley at least once. Let's go.
Seth has always said the Hughes brothers are all going to get together. He thought it was going to be in New Jersey.
Right.
If you're the other 2 Hughes brothers, what organization do you – I mean, it's 2 against 1. I get it. Doesn't the one win? And I'm not messing around here. I mean, it is the New Jersey Devils, and I'm not doing this for you because you're a Ranger fan, but you know the area as well as anybody. They're if you were to rate franchises in New Jersey, take New York out of it. No, and I'm serious. Where do they rank? Behind both football teams, behind the Rangers, behind both baseball teams, and behind the Knicks. Right?
That's at least. Yes.
And I didn't even get into South Jersey when we're talking about the Philadelphia teams.
Right. No. And as John Forsland said last night as they were celebrating, okay, what a great win for the state of hockey.
You're damn right.
That's the other thing. Hockey in Minnesota is a BFD.
Yeah, it is. And it's been a long time since they've had a professional hockey team that they've been proud of.
Yep.
Hell, it's been a while since they've had a college hockey team they've been proud of. But that's a whole other story.
It's the damn demise of the WCHA. But anyway.
That's for another day. But the Wild get it done last night. Can the Lightning get it done tonight?
I'll tell you what, Mark. That's the thing that was most disconcerting last night. We had 4 teams Okay. Well, we had 3 teams go on the road facing elimination. They went 0 for 3. The Nuggets, the Stars, and the Oilers. You went on the road facing elimination last night, your season's over. Think about it tonight. Okay. Pistons on the road facing elimination. Lightning on the road facing elimination. How many? 0, 1, or 2? How many force a game 7?
Well, the Pistons are going to win. I'm going to tell you that right now.
That's so cute.
Pistons
That
will
is.
win.
That
But I
is.
mean, we've got, because the Sabres are not facing elimination of Vegas. You're right. So, yeah. Okay.
Oh,
David, you know I want the Lightning to win.
mm-hmm.
I wanted them to win game 5.
Yeah.
I also told our audience that if I were betting the game, I would have bet on the Montreal Canadiens.
Yep, me too.
One, the odds were far better. We would have
Far.
made 2 bets on the Canadiens. We would have taken the goal and a half. Basically, the even money line, if you will. And then we would have taken the money line because it was so one-sided that it didn't make sense to us in a series that has been so damn even. But Montreal has been the better team in this series. Now, you can look at that a couple of different ways. I don't know if the Lightning have played their best hockey yet, and it's 3-2 Montreal. But what scares the hell out of me, David, is that damn near every game they've lost, Vasilevsky's given up a soft goal. And he gave up a couple. Really, I thought the first goal and the third goal were a little goaltender soft, if you will. The third one especially. So I'm petrified for the Bolts tonight. I am. Kucherov has been not good. Not been Kucherov. Regular season Kucherov doesn't get it done in the postseason. You've got to ramp your game up to another level. He has not. The good news is, to me, Getzel's starting to find the back of the net. That's incredibly necessary. It can't just be one guy. But the third line for Montreal, they've been winning this series. Explain to me who the bottom 6 guys are for Tampa who can do that for them. Because that's really been the difference. You know, Tampa's done a hell of a job of shutting down Suzuki and Caulfield. They have. The first lines have kind of evened out. But it's been the bottom 6 guys for Montreal that are getting it done. After the first game where there were all these power play goals, David, there haven't been a ton of power play goals in this series.
Listen, I know it's not a guarantee, but in both baseball and hockey, particularly playoff baseball and hockey, there's a lot of emphasis put on first goal. And the stats back it up. For whatever reason, score first in a baseball playoff game, you win well over 60% of the time. You score first in an NHL playoff game, you win over 60% of the time. Montreal scored first in 4 of the first 5 games of the series. Game 2, Tampa scored first, even though they had to come from behind to win that game in overtime. It's the only time Tampa's been up 1-0 in this whole series. If I could wish for one thing tonight for the Lightning, one thing, Mark, 1-0 Lightning after 1. I don't know if that's too big of an ask, okay, but if I could just wish for one thing, it just seems, Mark, as if the Lightning have been playing from behind the entire series.
I agree. And David, you said if I could wish for one thing, and all I could think of was Steve Martin on SNL doing the 5 wishes and all the people of the world living in harmony together.
Wow.
Absolute power over the power. I'd want the power and the money. Sorry. May have to watch it during the break.
That's true. If we could wish for one thing, it would be the power and the money. Wish number 2 is the Lightning to lead 1-0 after 1. Big ask, little ask. Big ask, little ask.
And the big ask right now might be the Lightning winning 1-0 after the first period.
It's certainly how it has to feel.
Miller and Moulton. Kurt Becker to talk the Derby in 25 minutes.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Gardening, Canada Relief. He likes to garden. I think eggplant's his favorite thing to grow. I don't know what his hobbies are outside of basketball. Certainly not working on defense. By the way, I didn't realize Portnoy's got a horse in the Oaks. It's going off at 5-1. And it's largely 5-1 because of Portnoy and all the people betting it.
Huh.
Like it's like I read that it's basically a 15-1 type horse, and the celebrity owner factor is taking the odds way down. So with that being said, I'm incredibly interested in what Kurt Becker has to say about the Oaks, because you may get better horses
Right.
at better odds than you would normally get. Yeah, he did, but he said he didn't know the race very well. Buck, that was the one thing he said. He said he really didn't have a good feel on it. Said he had a much better feel on the Derby, which is strange.
Who's the Colorado sports fan in the chat room right now? I want to ask a very simple, honest question. Ambient. Listen, I don't think Jokic is going to leave. He doesn't want to leave. I don't blame him. But do you think the Nuggets are going to win a title in the next 5 years? Murray is a big contract, tough to get rid of. Putting pieces around the two of them. Hard. So that's all I said. I just said, if he stays in Denver, I think he's won his last title, which is fine. Hell, has Crosby won a playoff series in the last 9 years since winning his last cup?
No.
No. So, nothing wrong with staying. In fact, I think more of him if he stayed. I don't think he's 31 years old. He'll age well. He can play a very long time if he wants. I don't know that he wants to, though. But unless they get lucky in a draft, I agree. It'd be great. What also will be interesting, Ambient, will the time ever come that the organization goes to him and says, are you sure we both wouldn't be better off if? Be interesting to see, but I think the slow decline is underway.
Go Wild. We got one Denver team out. Let's get the other one out.
Oh, wow. That's harsh.
Well, I mean, I bring up that I like Quinn Hughes. He's not as good as McCarr. If McCarr played for anybody else, he wouldn't know who McCarr was. It just becomes a bit much after a while.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Kurt Becker joins us in a little more than 15 minutes time. We'll talk horse racing. Oaks today, Derby tomorrow. Triple Crown as a whole. Kurt Becker, the voice of Keeneland, been our horse racing guy for about 15 years. He'll join us coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. Pat Kirwan, top of the hour. Talk all things NFL. Today is the deadline for teams to decide whether or not they're offering the fifth-year option to the 2023 first-round picks. So they're all under contract for this year, but how many of them are going to get the guaranteed money for next year? The ratios lately have been around 20-12, 18-14, for and against. I haven't figured out what the ratio is right now. Be easy to figure out Monday when it's all said and done, but talk to Pat Kirwan about that and a few other things coming up at the top of the hour.
We're going to put him on the shelf pretty soon for once a week. It's about time, isn't it? I mean, do we go all the way till the June 1 cuts? How are we going to work that?
Yeah, we could kind of go week by week. All right. If it's been a newsy week, but yeah, works for me. Works for me. My question is, do you go early in the week and talk about the weekend that was, or do you just have them on Fridays, in which we recap the week?
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I just, and I know our audience will do 4 segments of the NFL a week. I get it. But it depends to me how many business issues there are, because I don't know how many football issues there are going forward. Like, to me, the biggest story in the NFL right now, and I know that we got fifth-year options and we got some free agents out there, and we just drafted guys. We got the Vrabel thing. Roger Goodell tossed out the idea of a Cleveland Super Bowl. And we knew it would happen because of the venue. And they're building a new dome. But
yeah,
Cleveland
you're the one
and Super Bowl?
See, you're the one shocked by this.
Not shocked, surprised.
Why? Come on, you're smart. You pay attention. Okay. I mean, the only
because
one
of what it leads to, David. Does that mean Kansas City gets one? Does that mean Denver gets one? Like, I get, believe it or not, Chicago gets a dome stadium. Chicago's a big city, an important city in this country. It's not the butt of a joke city.
Okay.
So Chicago, I get. But if you're giving one to Cleveland, are you then giving one to Denver? Are you then giving one to Kansas?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. That's how the NFL works. Now,
worked. I mean, because some of these have been bad. Jacksonville didn't work. They told them they were getting one. That was not a successful Super Bowl.
No, but it was also over 20 years ago. And they're not coming back. Okay, but yeah, if you get a new stadium and, Wayne Weaver, it was politically connected with Tagliabue. And so, yeah, he got him a stadium. Like, I don't know how many people are going to get Super Bowls because of their political connections, but I'll say this, Mark, if anybody is, it's going to be the Hunt family in Kansas City. Okay. I mean, that's a top 5 owner in the league.
I guess that means we're probably going to have one on our nation's capital when they get the new stadium for the Commanders.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a reward. Yeah, go spend the money or go get your cities, counties, states to spend the money, whatever. Yes, you get it done. You build a dome stadium. And there's not an embarrassing hotel situation like there was in Jacksonville where we have to bring in cruise ships. Okay, if it can be pulled off, and that was the caveat that basically Goodell said yesterday, that the facility will be Super Bowl worthy. Okay, then they got to figure out, is the city and the surrounding areas, we got enough hotel rooms? Can we pull off the events we want to pull off? i.e., are there other things that are going to have to be built in the next half dozen years if you really want these sucker in the early 2030s?
Yeah,
But Mark,
Goodell's comment was the stadium is clearly going to be suitable for a Super Bowl.
right.
The real challenge is how transformational it is here. The airport is important to us. Hotels are important for us. All the facilities are the biggest challenge for hosting a Super Bowl.
Right. And I don't know that Cleveland meets the hotel ratio. I looked it up one time. We were talking about Jacksonville. Would they ever get another one? And here we are 20 plus years later, and the city has grown tremendously, and they've built a ton more hotels, and they're building more. And it still doesn't come close to meeting the hotel ratio that the NFL wants for a Super Bowl city.
Goodell says they have about half the hotels they need in Cleveland.
Well,
he also throws out, it's also the quality of the hotels.
Right.
You can tell me, Clevelander, that you've got all the hotel rooms. What are the hotels? Because we're not staying at the Super 8, gang.
Right. Goodell's like, me and my guests and the NFL's guests. Okay. Yeah. At least 20,000 of those 67.5. This is the standard hotel we need to be at. Do you guys have that? You got that within 20 minutes? Hello? Bueller? Hello? And I don't think Cleveland measures up right now. Do I think, though, that Goodell / the NFL wants to give Haslam / Cleveland a Super Bowl? I do, but I think they got to go to work. The Kansas City one will be interesting because they're going to be a long ways from downtown where that stadium is in Kansas. That's not close. You're staying in downtown Kansas City, you're going to have a drive. And I'm pretty sure downtown Kansas City doesn't have enough hotels. I'm almost positive of that.
Correct.
Right. Okay. I even said, and I love Denver as a city. I'm not so sure. And Denver's got some very nice hotels. Okay. Like, I think Denver will be able to meet the 5-star requirement or 4.5 to 5-star requirement that Goodell's going to want. But they're going to have to build some hotels, I think, to get theirs when they get their stadium done in like 2031.
By the way, they did all but confirm that Minneapolis is going to get the next draft that's available.
Huh. Okay.
That's by the way, that's going to be the fallback.
Totally.
You're not getting the Super Bowl. We'll give you the draft.
Right.
Cleveland, Kansas City, Denver. Hell, I mean, when you look at the number of people that came to Pittsburgh for the draft, over 300,000 people in 3 days, it's not a Super Bowl economic impact, but it's a hell of an economic impact on a city in the downtown area.
Right. Like, I don't know how many of the day one people also came back for day 2 and day 3, but they guesstimate 800,000 people showed up over those 3 days. I don't know. That seems like a pretty decent economic impact. Mark, any other events going on in Pittsburgh that generate
No.
800,000 visitors over 3 days?
No, there are not. And Pittsburgh's a very viable downtown. And I mean, that's the other thing. This is where logistics can be an out for the NFL. This is not a knock on Cleveland building the stadium where they did, not a knock on Kansas City building the stadium where they are going to build it. But David, you've talked about it. We don't believe, and they're probably going to get one, that the San Francisco area ever deserves another Super Bowl. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
The logistics suck.
They really
awful.
do.
It's
Even in Miami, where we think they'll get one, when they had everything down at the Miami Beach Convention Center, and Hard Rock is, can be 45 minutes away in traffic. It's very spread out for all of the events that they want to do with this.
Hell, it could be an hour and a half in traffic, but yes. Yes. Right. Even Miami's not convenient. But they'll get another Super Bowl. It's just a matter of when they finally settle on a list, is Miami going to be on the 5 or 6 city list that they just rotate?
David and I are like, New Orleans, they love it, but man, that's right there, if you know what I mean.
Yep. But a lot of new stadiums coming and a lot of dome stadiums. Will they get Super Bowls with them?
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Ambient, Jesus, you are pissing me off. I never once said Quinn Hughes is better than Cale Makar. I never said it. Never once. Never came close to saying it. Go back and listen to every effing show for the last 10 effing years. I never said that. What I said was Quinn Hughes is my favorite player to watch in the league right now. That's what I said. I love watching him skate. I do. He's fun. Do you know who my favorite NBA player is? It's Maxey from the Sixers. Do I think he's the best player in the league? No. He's the guy I enjoy watching. You don't listen. If anybody doesn't pick one of your players as the best player, you take it as a personal shot. I never said that. Ever.
He never did.
Never effing once. You go
No.
find the effing tape and play it for me.
No, I said Hughes is better defensively than Makar.
Yeah, he did.
But Makar is clearly the most gifted offensive defenseman in the league. Clearly.
Jesus. Hey. Kurt, good morning. Can you hear us, sir? Can you hear us? Oh, he's hitting buttons over there.
Can you hear us, Kurt?
You muted yourself, sir.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Right.
There it is.
There we are.
All right. Good morning, Kurt. How are you?
Good, fellas. How are you?
Great. Great.
Good.
How's your health?
All good. How about you guys?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
For me, it's getting a hell of a lot better. I was diagnosed with leukemia back in October, and next Wednesday I get to leave Tampa, where I had a bone marrow transplant. I am in remission, and life is good, Kurt.
Wow.
Yes, I've had a hell of a year, my friend.
I'm glad to hear the latter part. That
No
part
doubt.
is fantastic.
I am very blessed, my friend. Very blessed.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to not having to race my day around today and know that the Oaks is on in prime time. There have been so many years that I get caught up in life on a Friday with a young daughter and just crap going on that all of a sudden it's 6:40 and I'm like, did I miss the damn race?
That can happen for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I never, obviously on Saturday I'm locked in, but on Friday life goes on, and
Right.
there are things. So I'm fascinated. We'll get into it, but I am fascinated by the primetime Oaks to see how this does tonight from a viewership standpoint. I mean, this is they don't. Yeah, Kurt, you know what? They don't do many changes in the
No.
racing world.
No, that is for sure.
Where are you?
I am at home in Illinois.
Family doing okay?
Good. Yes, thank you. Everybody's good, and just looking forward to what should be a fun weekend.
Hey, Kurt, thanks for doing this. It's great to see you.
And
Yeah,
glad
very
to do
much.
it. Glad to do it. Always enjoy it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us to talk all things NFL then. On this first day of May, May Day, the Derby is tomorrow. The Oaks is later today and tonight. That means we've got to talk with Kurt Becker. He's been a horse racing guy for 15 plus years. Follow him on X at Becker Trackside, the exquisite voice of Keelan Racing. And when he starts talking, you'll know why. Kurt, it's David and Mark. For the first time, we can see one another on Twitch and YouTube. How are you?
All is well, guys. It is good to be back on the show with you.
Well, I know we'll get to the Derby, but before we do, I want to get to the Oaks tonight, and you can give us your pick. But this is in prime time now. You know, we kind of talked briefly before the segment began. Horse racing is very steadfast in how they do things. They don't make changes. So how did this come about? Was this NBC and the television network saying, we want this in prime time? We want even more horse racing coverage. But I think this is a big win for the sport that, you know, I said before, there's been many a year that I've missed the Oaks because life gets in the way. I won't tonight. And just talk about the changes to the Oaks being in prime time.
I think that is definitely television driven. And I think in this particular case, it will prove to be a good thing. At the least, I'm glad they're going to try this. I know that not everybody's been crazy about it. I think there was even an editorial this week in the Louisville Courier-Journal about how the later start for the Oaks could be a negative impact on the local economy, that people will be at the track till late tonight and they won't be booking reservations at restaurants and things of that nature. But then I also saw a couple of people within the industry who responded to that and said they thought that was nonsense. And I agree, fellas. It's the time of year where springtime stays light out a lot longer. People are out doing things, and I think an 8:40 p.m. post Eastern for the Kentucky Oaks, at the very least, I'm glad we're going to try this. You touched on it. Change in the thoroughbred industry, as somebody once said, it's like turning a big cruise ship around out in the ocean. Sometimes it takes a while.
Well, listen, for what it's worth, in terms of the local economy, with the Oaks in the late afternoon, I think people might have packed it in by 10 o'clock. Now with the Oaks being at 8:40, they might stay out between midnight and 2. It's not like the Derby is at noon the next day. But also what's being discussed, and goodness knows the three of us have discussed it many a time, but we've got new owners at Pimlico. It looks as if we're going to have a new TV network with the Preakness. And apparently a couple of them have already said, yeah, we got to move this race back. Talk to us about the talk within the industry. You know, the first talk we heard is they're only going to move it back 1 week to 3 weeks. There are those that want to go 4 weeks in between races. Just curious, do you think the Preakness is going to be changed soon?
I think that it seems to me like just what I hear in the industry and the chatter in general about that potential. I think it's a real possibility that could happen. I know that there are people already saying that, well, if that happens and it was no longer 2 weeks from Derby to Preakness and then 3 from Preakness to Belmont, that the Triple Crown will never be the same. And there are even people saying, well, it won't mean as much, that the whole point is 3 races in 5 weeks. That's the whole point of the test. But, you know, there have been some minor shakeups over the course of 175 years or so in the Triple Crown Series. Heck, there was a time briefly when the Preakness actually came a week before the Kentucky Derby. So if it does change, I'm not one of those folks that's opposed to it. You look at England, you look at their Triple Crown, which it's a fantastic series. And if memory serves, it's spread out over the course, not only of weeks, but over the course of several months. So look, it's tough and it's demanding to win these 3 races, Derby, Preakness, and Belmont, regardless. That will never change. I think that's always going to be a tough assignment.
Well, and, you know, I just go back to when as a little kid, my grandparents going to the Derby, and that's what made me start watching it. You know, the Affirmed and Alidar, the Sham and Secretariat, they raced against each other in all 3 races, and no one's putting their horse who loses the Derby into the Preakness. So to me, for the competitive balance of the sport, I would like to see it spread out, because it would be more like what I watched growing up and the great horses racing against each other 3 times. And I think that's the benefit that we can get in horse racing if they do that, Kurt.
And to your point, I've always been a fan of that concept. As somebody said years ago, one of the reasons we remember Affirmed being so great is not just because he won those 3 races, but because of the way Alidar pushed him in each leg of the series. Same thing with Secretariat and Sham. Sham ran at all 3. And of course, the first 2 races in particular, he actually pressed Big Red pretty good. So I'm with you on that point.
All right, to the Derby. First off, just a generic question. I'll throw it in underhanded. Your thoughts on the field. Do you think it's a good, strong field this year, or are you looking at it going, eh?
I think compared to last year's field, I go back and I look at a year ago, and I really thought after watching Sovereignty run in the Florida Derby, just the way he moved, the way he was built, the momentum he had coming up to the race, the seasoning he had, even though he paid $18, which was a pretty good price in hindsight, I thought he was the standout of the bunch. I'm having trouble narrowing it down. I don't feel as confident about just one horse this year. I think there are 3 or 4 at the top that they've got me puzzled, trying to determine who's going to come out of that little nucleus of horses. And so I think, top to bottom, it's fine this year. I'm not as sold on some of these wise guy horses. You hear people touting so much. I have a tough time with some of the conventional wisdom on the field this year, but I think there are 3, 4, 5 at the top that I'm having difficulty separating.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, if I'm looking at this right now, I've not seen the morning odds, but I had 5 horses better than 10-1. You've got another 5 horses between, I guess, 13-1 and 18-1. And, there's Cox has 3 horses in it, Full Effort's at 18-1. And there are people that think that's the horse of his 3 that can win. So there could be value this year, right, Kurt?
There could be. I agree. And especially you get a, big bulky field of horses, 20 horses at 1.25 miles. You get traffic issues. You get horses that don't react to getting bumped around and the crowd noise. I will say this regarding Brad Cox and the horses that he has getting ready to go to the post. And of course, he's got the Commandment. He's got Further Ado, who won our prep race at Keeneland and Lexington, the Bluegrass Stakes. Full Effort was a horse. He was one of those. I didn't know what to do with him. And I late yesterday, I was, in fact, it was last night, I'd been outside mowing the lawn doing springtime stuff and got a text message from somebody that said, hey, did you hear Full Effort is going to be scratched and Great White is going to move in from the also eligible list? So I was with you. I kept looking at that horse thinking, oh no, I know if I leave him off my ticket, I'm going to pay the price. So Full Effort, he has been scratched at this point, and Great White moves in. But still, fellas, I love your point about Brad Cox. I don't care, even with that horse out, Brad's got 2 really solid contenders here.
All right. Renegade drawing, obviously, the post. Last 40 years, that meant that, well, you ain't winning. But is it as big a deal with the new gate that they have? It's not 14-6 anymore. It's just 1 through 20. We've been told it's not as harsh to the 1 and 2 horses as it used to be. Your thoughts on Renegade drawing the pole, if you will?
I think he's capable of overcoming that. This is you've touched on something here that is a gamble on my part. I am leaving him off my ticket, and I could be doing that at my own peril. Irad Ortiz Jr. is the jockey. To your point about the starting gate that they use now, 1 uniform gate for the whole field, I think that does offset. Used to when they had to shove the primary gate so far close to the rail, and the inside horse, when he'd come out, had 0 room to navigate to his left. You add in the fact that Renegade loves to come from way off the pace anyway. I don't think that the post position is going to be the challenge for him. I'm just not sold on the idea that he is one of the top 4 or 5 in this particular race. So I could be horribly embarrassed by the next time we talk. But guys, as somebody said one time, when you look at the Derby and you start making selections, you've got to start breaking some eggs, as they say, or you're going to have a ticket with so many horses it's going to be too expensive to go to the window. So I think he's ran a great race in Arkansas in the Arkansas Derby. I'm leaning toward the idea that may have been his Kentucky Derby, so to speak.
All right. Is there a horse with some odds you'd put on the back end of a trifecta that you think that could get into the money? If we're going to stack 4 horses in a trifecta, give me the one with some odds that you think can get in the money.
This is a great question, and I always love this. Let's look for some value, as you just said. Yes, if I'm going to choose a horse, let's say 20-1 or higher to throw onto an exacta box, a trifecta box that has that kind of value, I'm going to go with Incredibolt from the barn of Riley Mott. Riley's a young trainer. His father is Bill Mott, who's won the Derby a couple of times. Bill won it last year. And this is not a case of here's a young person riding the coattails of his dad's name. No, Riley has learned, and he's an excellent young trainer, and so say a lot of people who know far more about training than I do. I think Incredibolt, who last I checked was 27-1 in the live odds, that is the price horse that I'm going to throw in and hope that he gets there at high enough in the finishing order, because I'm going to do a box. I always like to box the horses, so you've got a little more leeway. I think he could end up getting a chunk of it.
All right. Give us the 4/5 that you think are better than the rest.
I would say that Commandment, the winner in Florida of the Florida Derby, he's on my list. Further Ado, who won the Bluegrass, is on my list. The Puma is a horse that was runner-up in the Florida Derby. He's on my list as well. Those 3 for sure. And fellas, at this point, those 3 plus the long shot Incredibolt, those are the only 4 right now that I've got really on my radar. Maybe that'll change in the next 24 hours or what have you, 36 hours. But those are the ones I'm looking at that I think are coming into the race in the best form. Further Ado looks fantastic on the track in the mornings. He's been galloping well. Ears are pricked, and he's just looks like he's in command. He's going to be my top pick.
All right. For the Oaks tonight, who do you like?
We just talked about the rail and how that sometimes is not a good thing. I'm leaning toward Explora from the barn of Bob Baffert. I think she's for real. Flavian Pratt's the jockey. He's so good in these big game, big money situations. I'm going to go with Explora with Percy's Bar to run second.
I don't even know the name of Portnoy's horse. Okay, do you give it much of a shot?
I think Lovely Gray, if I remember
Lovely Gray,
correctly. Yep. Personally, I don't think this is the ideal race for her. I know there are folks who feel like, maybe she's even better suited for a race on the turf than on the main track. Look, with Dave Portnoy involved, it's generating a lot of publicity.
Yeah.
There's going to be people pay attention that maybe normally wouldn't, including folks that like to throw a few dollars down on any given sport. Maybe they normally don't bet horse racing, but with Portnoy's high profile, that will draw some attention from a lot of quarters.
And
Kurt?
as we talked about earlier, it gives odds to maybe some horses that it normally wouldn't, because money's going on one that doesn't necessarily deserve the cash.
That's what I love about this weekend. Similar to the Breeders' Cup, guys, these fields are so deep, you're probably going to get pretty good value no matter which direction you go.
He's Kurt Becker, the voice of Keeneland Racing. Follow him on X at Becker Trackside, Becker Trackside. Kurt, safe travels. All the best to you and your family. Glad to hear everyone's well, and we'll certainly talk in 2 weeks, if not sooner.
Fellas, I appreciate it. And again, you guys are the best. Thanks for the coverage you give to racing.
We love it, and so does our audience, and they love you, Kurt. Thanks for everything over the years. Kurt Becker, Becker Trackside is how you follow him on X. And, Mark, because of our growing markets and what have you, people hearing him for the first time. And as you said, Yeah, he's got a really good voice.
He does. I love the pipes. You know, you and I were both blessed with good voices. We were, but having been in the business as long as I have, every time I hear him, I go, how about opening the phone book? Today, you can do the W's, Kurt. I'm good. We'll talk with Pat Kirwan, the golden tones of Pat Kirwan, to talk the National Football League next on Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Well, Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Pat.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Do I see hair growth on your head, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here it comes, folks.
Hair's coming back, my friend.
Yep. You look like you're doing fine.
I am.
You're-
Going home for the weekend. I got to come back up for 2 days next week. Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going to do the show from the house Tuesday and then come back up here Tuesday after the show. I got 3 appointments on Tuesday, a bone marrow biopsy on Wednesday, another test on Wednesday, and then I'm going home for good.
Oh, man. You should write a book about this journey. Doing the show in the hospital was my favorite.
I had a buddy ask me yesterday, he goes, are you still doing the show? Because he's in, he lives in Illinois now. And I'm like, I missed one day.
Yep. I remember that day David said to me, yep, it was a heavy dose of chemo. He is asleep right now.
Yeah, the first day you got there, okay, that Friday, and then the following Tuesday, that was it. And we thought, I mean, if you think about it, we didn't know if they were going to give you the thumbs up to do it from the
Right.
room. We didn't know what your condition was going to be to do it from the room. I mean, we were planning behind the scenes on like the first 2 to 3 weeks of February.
Yeah, I would have never really said and been as outward with what was going on if I would have known what was happening. Although I'm thankful that I did. It was very good for me personally.
Well, it's a great story about courage too, because I have a feeling, I said this before, there's someone in that hospital, whether it was a nurse or a patient, who was inspired by what you were doing. There was no way that they're all saying, yeah, so what? No, you were doing a live radio show, interacting with people.
Yep. It's funny. I got a nice message from an old friend from high school, kid a couple of years younger than me. And he went through, to me, a tougher battle than I did. He had esophageal cancer that he's beating well. And
that's hard to do.
He sent me a really nice message. And I'm like, Tim, you were my inspiration. Don't think for a minute I wasn't thinking about you every day.
Yeah. My dad died of that. Yeah. I know that one. Was he
well, and it's just amazing where, medical technology is a amazing thing right now. Because I was a grease spot 10 years ago if I had this. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Well, you're going home already.
Yep.
Nice. Hey, I like your commercial, you guys. The pizza box. You've tried the rest. Now I have the best. I like it.
Yeah, we just need 3 people to try the pizza box.
Yeah. I'll be on it next week.
Well, we got to get going on. Somebody's got to help out here.
Yeah.
I keep thinking Breeze Airlines. All the people that don't even know about it.
I know about it. I spend a lot of money with them. They fly to Raleigh. That's my son's airline now.
Yep.
And I'm still buying the damn tickets.
Of course you are. That's why you're working.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home in Jacksonville and Tampa, St. Pete, final hour of the show in our old stomping grounds, Southwest Florida, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, and Venice and surrounding areas, Live Oak Lake City and surrounding areas. We're Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan joins us for a little while longer on Tuesdays and Fridays throughout the NFL season. Then we go to 1 day a week for a couple, 2-3 months. And then Pat, we put him on double duty again. Pat joins us as always, courtesy of Pinchers. Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Good morning. How are you?
Good. Very good. And had a little additions to our guest list. I had Will McClay yesterday, which we almost never got Will McClay in Dallas. So it was fun. And it turns out he listens to the show, and that kind of made for more interesting conversations with him. So hopefully there'll be a few more guys like that looking to jump on with us once in a while. So that part of it's good. And look, the 5th-year option world, like, explain this to me, David. And I get no 5th-year option for Anthony Richardson, and I get in a way Broderick Jones because of the neck fusion. But how do you give a 5th-year option to Lucas Van Ness?
It's funny you went there, Pat, because in the starting 5, we talked about, today's the deadline for 5th-year options. And I specifically said to Mark, the Packers gave $14 million in 2 years to Lucas Van Ness. He's got, 8.5 sacks in 3 years. That's good money if you can get it. But, Green Bay, how much of this is ego, Pat? How much of this is an organization that stays with who they draft and they don't admit many mistakes?
Well, I think you said it, because they are. You ask any good football fan, they'll tell you the Packers believe in the draft. But a guy with 2 starts in 3 years, And you were kind. You went right to his strongest number, 8.5 sacks. You know, there's other numbers that concern me, like 84 tackles in 3 years. It's 28 a year. And he doesn't really get to 40% of the plays ever. So it's kind of, look, it happens every year, but when someone said to me yesterday, well, it's only 13.8 million, I go, really? That's how you're looking at this? So there's been other teams that have had dilemmas, but they've decided not to sign the guy or extend him, because I think some of my listeners didn't understand it was fully guaranteed when you give it to him. He could absolutely do nothing this year, which would be like another 2 starts. That'd be a big year for him. And you're stuck with that money. So I think I would have passed on tagging that money on him, and I would have said, have a great year. We'll talk about a contract after that. But they wanted to take that out of the equation.
Let me ask you, with Pittsburgh, Broderick Jones was playing well. He was going to be an important part of that line. Now he suffers the injury. Pat, I'm not saying they made the wrong move, but did they make the right move not giving him the 5th-year option, in your opinion?
I think that's the hard. Like, he had 38 starts compared to 2 for Van Ness. So
right.
That alone is enough of a conflict for us to have a discussion. I think it's a business, right? So if you don't think he's got a chance to be 100% healthy, and you're starting to already draft people to overcome the loss of him, I think you move on. That's unfortunately how this works. And it's no different than the guys who work out on their own and don't sign these tenders, and they get hurt on the, working out with non-professional football people, and then they've put their whole salary at a bad situation. So I feel bad about it. He's a good guy and he's working hard, but I think it does tell us how severe it is. Remember when they started to say he was going to be better, David? Oh yeah, he's going to be fine. That conversation kind of fizzled with this decision.
Yes, could also show some of the salary cap issues they know they have going forward, which I think is the case in Cincinnati. Like, Miles Murphy has certainly been more productive than Van Ness, but the Bengals, whether they said it out loud or not, the Bengals basically said to Miles Murphy, yeah, I don't think it matters how good of a year you have this year, and you are an up-and-coming defensive lineman, but we are going to pay Lawrence big money, and we just drafted 2 defensive linemen, so we've already got your replacement. Have a great 2026 and good luck.
That is the truth. Now, not that they'd use it, but if that guy had a 12-sack season, you could always franchise tag him. And I remember Chicago didn't put a 5th-year option on a guy. I think it was one of their safeties a couple years ago, and then he had a great year, and they put a franchise tag on him. So you still have that parachute. And when you start looking at the cost of the option year, you're not far off on what the franchise tag is, or certainly what the transition tag would be. So there's always one way to retain his services if in fact he explodes. But I get it. We started, the 3 of us looked at how many people weren't tagging guys in the bottom half of the draft, but now it seems this year maybe it's because a lot of guys have more cap space, that they're a little more free with their money. But I am looking at the rookie deals, and Mekhi Lemon's the biggest story for me because he was the first rounder in. So you go back and look at Barron's deal last year, Jahad Barron in Denver, and this is a nice reasonable raise. It's about 15% on the 4-year deal. There's no exotics in there, so you'll see all these first rounders start to fall into place pretty quick.
All right, one last 5th-year option. This happened maybe earlier this week, might have been last week, but the Lions are not extending Jack Campbell. I know they're trying to get a deal done. What's the reason why they didn't give him a 5th, and what should they be doing with him? Because obviously Anzalone went to Tampa, so they need him.
I think they're very close to getting a deal done. And the agent probably likes the deal, and the deal's going to put more money in his pocket this year, right? He's going to get a signing bonus, so I'd be shocked if they don't have a deal done shortly. And when you have that kind of stuff and a faith that you're going to get the deal done, it behooves you not to get stuck with a big fat cap hit next year, because these 13 millions, 19 millions for linemen, there's direct shot on your books. You can't even water it down, but with the nice contract, you can water down the deal to give you more cap space. So I think that's what's going to go on with the linebacker.
can we go back to Makai Lemon for a second?
Yeah, sure.
What happened there? Because clearly the Steelers thought they had worked out a deal with the Cowboys and they were going to draft him, right? Or did the Cowboys not indicate that and instead made a deal with the Eagles? I mean, how is it that Omar and the Steelers, did they get screwed by the Cowboys, or did they just screw up and that's why they have egg on their face?
Well, the deal's never a deal until it's done. And so what club is stupid enough to talk to one team? You know, you talk to one team and they back out. Now you have got nothing. So it behooves you to talk to multiple teams and keep the thing alive until you get what you want. And so I don't think it was intentional to, as you say, screw the Steelers. But
well, but Pat, if you tell me we have a deal, then that's what I'm wondering. Are the Eagles off the record claiming Dallas told us we had a deal and they screwed us? Or did they just think Dallas wasn't trading the pick and Dallas got an offer they couldn't refuse?
it could have come in late like that. Usually it doesn't, though. Most of these things are worked out in early time. I think the big part that the average person's thinking what happened here was that they were on the phone with them. Hey, all's fair in love and war, David. You know that.
Well, no doubt. And that's how the draft comes out. I've brought it up more than David, and I'm going to bring it up with you. Roger Goodell yesterday at the Browns groundbreaking ceremony threw the Super Bowl carrot in front of Cleveland. I'm more surprised. David's like, this is what they do. And I'm more like, this is what they did. And, you know, if you're giving Cleveland one, does that mean Denver and Kansas City are getting one? Or was that just a, hey, Cleveland, if you want one, yeah, your stadium's good enough, but you've got a long way to go before we give you a Super Bowl?
Well, therein lies the reality of it all, because there were people saying years ago, Nashville's getting one, but Nashville didn't have enough hotels. If you go down there and see all the booms that are up building buildings. So what did they really promise? They promised if you double down your hotels, we'll consider you. So I think they're putting a lot of pressure on the city of Cleveland. Now we'll find out if Cleveland really wants to do all that building. There's a lot of criteria, as you guys know, to get a Super Bowl, and they don't meet it yet. I think by the time they get that all figured out and actually done, Roger will be retired, and it'll be hard to find him.
I do think that hotel thing may bode well, sidebar, David, to Tampa, because the booms around here and the changes of downtown from the last real Super Bowl, not the COVID Super Bowl when no one was here, but the last time everybody was in Tampa. This town's a completely different place from that.
Well, Mark,
Yep.
Obviously we're all a little biased, but for what a cluster blank a Super Bowl in the San Francisco Bay Area is. Yes, they have enough hotels, but everything's spread out over an hour. Meanwhile, look how convenient Tampa Bay is getting. Okay,
Oh.
It's getting better by the year as a Super Bowl city if the NFL will open their eyes to it.
Well, there's always been a almost a love affair with Florida. They like the weather part of it. That's another problem with Cleveland. But at the end of the day, sometimes you get a little push from the league office that it helps get a new stadium or it helps get a renovation of a stadium. Somehow they always seem to be able to convince the cities, if you just fix this, that, and the other thing, we could have the game here again. And it's politics all the way when it comes to it. But I'd be tickled to death if it was in Florida again. And I did like it when it was in Tampa for the one that you call the real one there. But aren't there rumblings about a stadium in Tampa?
Well, more refurbishing, Ray J,
Yeah.
but yes, because obviously the new baseball stadium, they're trying to get that deal done. They just got a long-term lease on the hockey building with the city. So yes, the Raymond James is the next domino to fall in the Tampa area. And I think when that happens, I hope that they get a Super Bowl. We David, you and I think they deserve one from what happened to them with COVID.
Yeah, I think the NFL, quite frankly, owes Tampa a Super Bowl for 2020. Okay, I really do. Now, like you said, though, Goodell might not be commissioner by the end of the decade, and the new commissioner might not feel the way Goodell does about Tampa and all these other cities that are building stadiums. He may just be like, I got my own ideas. So
Well,
we'll see.
We'll see if Cleveland's being rewarded for drafting Shador. Hey, tell me what's going to happen if Watson starts. I want to hear you guys. I think he's going to beat out everybody to play. In the last year of that contract, finally is going to be ready to go.
Well, as we head to break, didn't they say that out loud earlier this week that's going to happen? He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains. More with Pat on the other side here on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Don't scare us like that.
I don't know what happened. It just went off. So
Okay, yeah. I went down to get coffee. I came back and Pat's gone. I'm like, what the hell happened?
You just scared me back because when you came on, there was no sound. I go, oh no, not that again.
No. I got to pull you up before the sound works. That's funny.
Oh, that's all good. Hey, how about the great Calais Campbell?
Oh, we're going to get there.
Thank you. So here's a funny little story. He's the same draft class as Jacob Hester. And Jacob he's now done 8 years of radio since his retirement. And I was harassing him yesterday, I go, and while you were on the radio talking about football, Calais had another 46 sacks.
Right.
Oh,
and he was named the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Yeah. Okay, how close to the Hall of Fame is he going to be?
I'm giving up trying to figure that out, Pat. I really am.
Will McClay called him an alien yesterday. He's a wonderful human being, and he can still play. And the day before, I'm going on the air. I'm going, John Harbaugh, now that he's lost Dexter and hasn't really replaced him, should sign Calais Campbell.
Totally. You know me, Pat. I want teams to adopt my 18 to 20 million, 3 for 18 to 20 million plan. Calais Campbell and the former Bronco Bills
Von Miller. Yeah. I'm totally with you. And how about Cam? If Detroit should be signing Cam, that guy had 10.5 sacks last year.
Hey.
I know I'm preaching to the choir on that one, but
Yeah, I mean, seriously, Cam Jordan, Calais Campbell, Von Miller.
I got more for you. Jadeveon Clowney had 8.5 sacks, and he didn't even play the whole year. And if you can't get any of them, you should be able to get Joey Bosa for half price.
Well, I have to admit, I don't know if I'd go there. He looks more shot than service.
You better have, I think, Pat, you better have somebody else if you're getting him, if you know what I mean.
Sure. But
he's got to.
I have him in order. In the order for me right now is Von Miller, Cam Jordan, Jadeveon Clowney, Joey Bosa, Kyle Van Noy. If you need a guy to rush the passer.
Yeah, I would do Van Noy before Bosa.
I don't know. That 5 forced fumble is pretty good. 16 hits on the quarterback. He doesn't get sacks. He only had 5.5 or so, but he does have pressure. I'm not a big fan because I think I know why he's breaking down, and I think you know too.
Yeah. Would you go Dante Fowler or Bosa?
No.
Okay.
I would take Bosa. Fowler to me, he didn't do very much last year.
No, he didn't. So,
but there's plenty of good guys left, and I could name 4 teams. I think Seattle is one of them. Arizona, I wouldn't want to go to Arizona, but
I'm staying away from Bosa also because I think he's a head case. He very undisciplined on the field, has really hurt his team in some clutch spots.
Oh, the roughing the passer last year?
Yeah. The Chargers playoff game?
Mm-hmm. He gets frustrated because he's not what he was.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, remaining moments with Pat Kirwan. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains. You can listen to it weekdays 3 to 6. He joins us twice a week throughout the majority of the season, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. All right, we talked about the old defensive lineman who we think can still play. We did that about 6-8 weeks ago. Most of them are still unsigned. But yesterday, the Ravens signed one of them, soon to be 40-year-old Calais Campbell to a one-year deal. Your thoughts?
I'm excited for Calais. I'm excited for the Ravens. Now, the funniest part of this was he went to Arizona to return from where he started. Like it was the chapter 10 in a 10-chapter book. And now he's going on a tour back to Baltimore. I thought the Giants should have jumped on top of it with the loss of Dexter Lawrence. And I said it the day before. I go, I didn't have any idea that they were getting close to sign him in Baltimore. But I'm going, why wouldn't the Giants, John knows him, that he's going back there, and he basically raised Matabuke. Matabuke is the first one to tell you that Calais Campbell was why I became a better pro. And Matabuke is not 100% healthy, but they're getting a guy back that was productive last year. Almost extraordinary numbers. So he has not lost a beat. We're fooling around about how many sacks he had in the last 8 years. He had 46 of them. You'd never know he's 40. My question to you guys, for the moment, I want you to be voters for the Hall of Fame. Is he a Hall of Fame candidate?
Candidate? Yes. Yes.
Well, everyone's a candidate till further notice. But
here's my problem. They haven't put Jim Marshall in. I don't see how they can put Calais Campbell in. They put Jim Marshall in, then I think Calais should go right in. Would I vote for Calais Campbell? Absolutely, I would.
Yep, me too.
I think he might be a finalist, Pat. I don't know if he'd get in. That's kind of what I think. I'm so baffled by the Hall of Fame right now when they're not putting 5 guys in a year with who's on the finalist list. I think there's a problem right now.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. Here was the analogy to Calais Campbell, and maybe they both don't get in, but maybe they both do get in, and that was Frank Gore. Frank Gore, the longevity, what he was able to accomplish and stay healthy enough to play well. To me, this is a 40-year-old defensive lineman who I fully expect is going to land up with about 9 sacks next year and about 6 block passes, because it's hard to throw over 6'7".
All right, Pat. We've talked a lot about the draft, but we didn't even kind of combine it with free agents. Well, Tampa's needed a pass rush for, I don't know, ever. And they get Reuben Bain, and I know different people have different thoughts. David and I love him. I think you like him quite a lot. I know the arm length's an issue because you have that Gil Brandt philosophy in your head, and rightly so. But they got the guy from Detroit, too, who had 10 sacks. How different should this team look up front defensively? Vita Vea, if healthy, obviously is just a stud. To me, if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm pretty positive about what they can do defensively this year.
Well, I talked to Todd Bowles the other day, and he's as excited as you are, and it's not just draft talk. He absolutely loves Reuben Bain. He could care less about the arm length because he talks about how he explodes into blockers, and he's so powerful in his lower body that he neutralizes them. And he's had short arms his whole life, and it hasn't stopped him against people that are going to be offensive tackles in the National Football League. So he loves him. He likes that he's got some help from Vita Vea inside. And I think as these guys get older, we duly noted that when Cam Jordan had reduced play time, that his production went up. And I think with Vita Vea, you're going to get to that point very shortly, and they feel like they have some help there. And I would say this about Tampa: they still have the best quarterback in the division. And as long as you have that, and a defense is starting to be the way Todd Bowles thinks it's going to be, I think they should be the contenders. And I'll ask you guys, you don't have to say anything, but I'm picking them to win the division. How about you?
Yep.
I think so. I'm just a little concerned. I don't know, but then again, in that division. But anyway, I probably will, but I'm a little concerned.
And
I only have to
anybody
ask
enough.
who are you concerned about? That's my problem. Who do I think, it's starting with the quarterback, is going to have one that can rival the production?
No. He's the best quarterback in the division. There's no doubt about it. But I think some other teams in that division have done really good things in the last few months. And the division was not separated. The first to last was separated by 2 games. So I don't really know how much better Tampa Bay is. Also, for as much as I love Reuben Bain, Pat, the people who left Tampa this year couldn't trash Todd Bowles and the locker room more on their way out the door. And I'm just not so sure that the draft fixes the room. That's all. I just want to see how the room is going to handle adversity.
No, that's fair. But most guys on their way out the door say something negative about where they were leaving. How about the line coach from the Eagles?
Huh.
Hey, I spent a lot of my life here, but by the way, your play calling is why we lost. When I hear a line coach say that, you know what he says? We should have run the ball more. That's what he really wants to say.
Well, I'm going to go to my original home back north because David and I had this discussion yesterday. The Lions have an over-under of 10.5. And I think based on their schedule is a lot of the reason behind it. I'm afraid that team's going in the wrong direction, Pat. The defense, we'll see if this new edge rusher helps out Hutch enough. The defense, he didn't do enough in free agency to make me feel good about the defense. You lost your play caller, and that seemed to hurt the team last year. That division is very strong. I don't know who got better. I really don't. I think the Bears may have, But when you look at Detroit in the North, what do you see, not just this year, but going forward?
Well, let's start with this year because it is a now league and they're a now team, and they are a team that's fully peaked with the quarterback, receivers, etc. So I'm signing Cam Jordan, and I don't care how old he is. He's going to be the opposite side of Hutchinson, and that's going to change everything up front because he is very capable of dropping 10 sacks on anybody, and he's also capable of a lot of other things that he plays with, and I could care how old he is. I don't care. But I have to take a shot at 2026 season first and then go from there. But why would I leave a deficiency on the other side? It's too easy for them to double Hutchinson every play. And I don't want that to happen. I want someone on the other side who's going to get singled to win a lot. And we could say Von Miller and his 9 sacks. We could say Clowney and his 8.5 sacks. But I just think Cam Jordan and the head coach would be a nice combination of excitement for the team to live up to the defensive side of the bargain.
Just personnel-wise, we got less than a minute. When you look at the Lions roster, okay, Mark sees a roster that's slowly getting worse. What do you see?
Well, I saw the formerly the number 1 offensive line in the league, not the offensive line it was back in the day. And can you repair it? That's the question to me. Because if you can repair the line, then you got really an opportunity to be pretty good in this thing. That's the biggest if, and I think it's so obvious to everyone who ever follows the Lions. When I went to camp there, when Campbell first came, I could not believe it. And I went to a lot of camps that had lines. They were the best, and they're not the best anymore.
It's funny. Philadelphia and Detroit, Mark, were the standard bearers in the league 2-3 years ago, and now both still think they're pretty good, but
there's cracks in the armor there.
Yes, with both of them, no question about it. He's Pat Kirwan, moving the chains this weekdays 3 to 6 on NFL Radio. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. Hey, have a good weekend.
Back at you, boys. Enjoy your time. You're looking great there, Mark. Keep it up.
Thank you, Pat. We'll get together soon before you head north.
Yeah, I'm going down I'm flying back down to Florida today, so it's a hockey weekend for me. Seriously.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies. For nearly 30 years is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I need a little help in there. I didn't write them down. Who were the 4 horses that Kurt had? I know you got Puck. If you're in there, I know you've got it, but the girlfriend could be making you, pick plants or something right now. Commandment, Further Ado was the other one. David, Becker's 4 horses. Commandment, Further Ado, the Puma, and Incredible. Is that right?
Correct.
And he had Further Ado as his winner, correct?
He had the 18 horse winning. His try box was 618.9, and the horse he's throwing in to maybe get a little money is the 11.
By the way, David, for you, I noticed when he went the 11, Dannon Bourbon is the Dannon Bourbon or whatever is the 7.
Right.
That's a 7-11 exacta right there.
Yes, it is.
Just for what it's worth.
Yes, it is. What's interesting, though, I think Kurt, when he was saying some of the people who are touting certain horses, he politely was saying, I think they're nuts. And I think one of the horses he was talking about is my horse, in which he goes, the people who are talking up this horse to win, they're crazy.
Well, the Courier Journal has Commandment, Further Ado, the Puma, and Emerging Market as the 4 horses they pick that can beat Renegade. I love the Courier Journal because of 2 reasons. One, I get it's in Louisville, but just the sheer amount of articles daily on horse racing. And B, it's always free. There's no paywalls up on that paper. I don't know how, because I think they're a Gannett paper.
It's one of the great papers in America. That is one of the great sports cities in America. Louisville's fantastic.
I went years ago to a Michigan State Louisville game. I was living in Nashville at the time. This is, I went Nashville, Raleigh, Southwest Florida. So this is
90s, right?
94, 95, 96 is when I was in Nashville.
Okay.
And my buddies from Atlanta, all Michigan State guys, picked me up and we went up to Louisville for the game. We had, and this is a long time, we had an amazing time. Amazing time. I don't know if it's still that way, but Louisville bars were open till 4 or 3. That was the first shocker to us because we were at some bar that was one of those. They don't have much of them anymore, where there's like 4 bars in one. Or there's like the country. You go under one roof, you paid one cover. You got a rock bar. You got a quiet place, and you got a club and all this stuff. And first off, we were just amazed. And obviously, this is a football week. This isn't around the Derby. All the pretty people. We were kind of blown away by that. And just how much fun it was. I mean, and then we went to the game, and this is before every stadium sold beer. They weren't on campus. It was horrible. It was rainy. It was cold. There were 3 of us that didn't even want to go to the game. It was so crappy. And Steve Delisle, God rest his soul, he's like, F you guys. We came up here. We're going to the game. And we're getting garbage bags from the hotel. We stayed at, a Holiday Inn Express type place.
Sure.
We're getting garbage bags for parkas. And we walk in, and the first thing we saw was like a Miller Lite neon. And we went, is that what we think it is? Great day. Sparty won. It was a lot of fun. That was a fun day.
It's always nice when you can have a great day wearing a garbage bag.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Just got done talking to Pat Kirwan. Before that, it was talking racing with Kurt Becker. Pat, Kurt, and all our guests join us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
You know, I'm fired up for the Derby, obviously, in the Oaks tonight. But one of the reasons I always get fired up is that you can't bet the Derby or the Oaks or any of that on the Hard Rock app. And that's what I use to gamble. And I don't gamble a whole hell of a lot. I'm basically like Trent now. I make small bets just to entertain myself. And you can't do that for the horses because it's not on the app. You have to use one of the horse racing apps. And I think there's a couple, but Twin Spires, I believe, is the big one that's left. I don't even know if there are others out there. If there are, knock yourself out. But I have Twin Spires on my phone. And David, to tell you how infrequently I use it, yesterday I went to open the app. I had to download the update because the last time I used it was last year's Derby because I didn't make a bet on either the Preakness or the Belmont. And it's like finding that $20 bill in your jean pocket because there was a balance. It wasn't much. It was $40 or so. But I was like, I'll be damned. I
Right.
have a little money. I don't even have to deposit that much money to make my bets. So I was ecstatic to see that the Twin Spires app had a little cash in it.
So you already feel as if you've won a race.
I'm up $40.
Right. But yes, the Oaks tonight in prime time. Is that on NBC?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great for horse racing that they get that because I know that NBC doesn't have any of the hoop tonight. All the hoop tonight's on Amazon Prime. All the hockey tonight is on the four-letter network and the family of networks. Two of the games on ESPN and the Lightning and Canadians. If you're not watching locally, it's nationally on ESPN2. Well, we got one I-4 team that needs to win to stay alive, and we got another I-4 team that needs to win to close out a series and what would be a big upset.
Huge, man. An 8-1. We've documented it throughout the week. Has not happened very often. It certainly hasn't happened since they've gone to 7 all that often. What has there been 5 of them, David? This would be the 6th time?
No, this would be the 5th.
This would be the 5th.
This would be the 5th time since they've gone to best of 7 that an 8 has beaten a 1.
2 times it happened when it was best of 5. So, yes. All right, David, you can bet one Florida Pro playoff team tonight to win. The Lightning or the Magic? Where are you putting Trent's $7?
Well, they're both underdogs, which is surprising to me. Okay, I know you're not surprised. I am surprised that the Pistons are 3.5-point favorites tonight in Orlando, just based on how they've played on the road. They not only lost both, but offensively they were bad. Their supporting players were bad. And what have they shown you that makes you think that all of a sudden tonight Cade Cunningham's supporting cast is going to give him a little help like they did in Game 5? That was home. Supporting cast play well at home. They don't play well on the road usually. So, Mark, I would take Orlando. They're 2-0 at home in this series. All right. I would put the shekels on the Magic tonight, more so than the Lightning. All right. And I do think the Lightning, it seems like a little thing, but it's not. Montreal scored first in 4 of the 5 games that seemingly they have played, even the Game 2 and Game 4 that Tampa won. Tampa had to come from behind to tie it. Then they won it in overtime. All right. And then in Game 4, they're trailing 2-0. They're trailing 2-1 going to the third. It just feels, Mark, as if the Canadians have played the whole series from at worst tied, but really in the lead. And if I'm Tampa tonight, I don't know. Can you really come from behind north of the border again against this team, or could you make it a little easier on yourself? How about a Kucherov first period goal to get he and they off the schneid, please?
David, I was thinking about the Lightning while watching the Wild in Dallas.
Okay.
And the reason was the power play. Tampa's really talented. Tampa's not getting shots on their power play. They just seem to work it around the perimeter.
And settle
Do
for
you
it.
see what the Stars do when they get a power? And I don't get it because Kucherov has always said, usually, and I know sometimes he and Getzel switch, but usually Kucherov is on the goal line extended. When Dallas gets the puck to that spot, they're able, and I know they're out of the playoffs, but their power play's effing ridiculous, okay? When they get the puck to that spot, they're able to pass it into the slot and get shots off.
Correct.
Kucherov relies on these terrible angle shots. They like to make the cross-ice dunk pass, if you will, across the goal line, essentially, and that's a tough play to make. Dallas would slide that guy out into the slot and then maybe put that backdoor winger sliding in on the back door. There was a lot of, I guess what I'm saying, David, is in that triangle down low, there seemed to be a lot of movement for Dallas, where to me, Tampa's pretty stagnant down there. I know I'm getting a little technical nitty-gritty hockey here, and I apologize that I'm going this deep. But to me, the movement in the crease of where players are and they're being stagnant hurts that power play.
Well, Mark, I think the point you made, though, is that Dallas gets somebody low down by the goal line. Where did Kucherov and the Lightning have success on the power play after game one when both teams had success? But since then, when was it? Third period, game 4. Where was Kucherov? Down low on the goal line. And what could they do? They could get a pass to the middle. This time it was Hagel tapping it in. But what the Lightning are trying to do on the power play is get the puck in the middle, okay, to point. And Montreal has not let them get the puck in the middle to Braden Point. And I agree with you, Mark. Strategically, Kucherov's just hanging out on the side. Okay.
Yeah, he's on the goal line extended, but his ass is on the boards, and he needs to be 5 feet from the goal.
Yes. And when he was, he threw a nice little pass and, Hagel just tapped it in and we were tied at 2. And I just don't know if this series has been so hard for the Lightning. It feels to me like they've been swimming uphill the entire time. And I don't think they have their confidence. I don't think they have their, Stella has their groove back. I don't think the Lightning have it. And if they're going to win this series, at some point, they need to feel like we and they used to feel about themselves. And maybe they just don't have it anymore. Maybe it's gone. Okay, but there were times this year where this team had it. And they don't right now. And I just, Mark, remember, they found their groove in the third period of game 4, and they looked like a totally different team. It's the only time this series in which they have absolutely taken it to the Canadians. And I think they need something in the first half of this game tonight so that, quite frankly, Stella can get her groove back.
That's a late 90s rom-com reference from one David Moulton.
Come on now. You went Steve Martin early in this show.
No, David. I'm not knocking it. I am just helping. I am helping. That's not you. You're well aware. People are where's that? I remember that. That was a movie, was it? Yes, a late 90s rom-com.
Yep.
That's all.
But whatever it is, it just seems as if have the Lightning. That's why they scored their 2 goals on 2-on-1s in game 5. Hell, that almost felt like breakaways. It seems like, the Canadians have had seemingly all the odd man rushes in this series. That's why it was pleasant to see that the Lightning actually had 2 2-on-1s and they buried the biscuit.
Scored on both. I mean, they've got to be equal, if not better, 5-on-5, and they're not right now. I mean, they got those goals on a rush. They're not sustaining pressure. The other thing for me defensively, and I mentioned this yesterday, David, and I know Pittsburgh's done in the playoffs. I get it. But Pittsburgh outplayed Philly in game 6. They just didn't win.
Right.
But what they did is when the puck was in their zone, they got it out of the zone.
Exactly.
Tampa is pressing to me so much that they're trying to make these creative passes to break out, and they're turning them over, putting more and more pressure, not just on Vasilevsky, but on their defensive play. And they're working so hard in their own end. They've got to figure out a way to flip that and make Montreal be the team that's working hard in their own end. It doesn't matter the sport, but in hockey in particular, I think TJ Oshie even said it. It's a hell of a lot easier when you're on the power play to not get tired than when you're killing a power play. The same thing can be said about defense. When you're pressing it's harder to play defense. It's more taxing on the body. And it would be nice to see Tampa's third line outplay Montreal's third line.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't either.
I just think that maybe Tampa studs have to carry the day.
Angela Bassett and Whoopi Goldberg were in the movie, in case you were wondering.
Thanks for.
I mean, you didn't even go with that. I mean, it's a cool catchphrase, but it's not like that was a big blockbuster hit.
No,
and probably really not to our audience.
No, I'm guessing maybe 4 people in our audience actually paid money to see it. Right.
Could have gone Boomerang, and I think more people would know Mushroom Belt. But I digress. But we're looking forward to a bunch of game 6s tonight. You know, Boston's been written off as dead. And what can they do? Can they win a home game? Be nice, Bruins, wouldn't it?
Well, also, I don't know. I might be making a mountain out of a molehill, but extra day off suddenly appeared in that series too. Curious who that helps. Does that help Buffalo or Boston? Boston, and this is interesting. If you could do the comparison of apples to oranges, we had no faith in the Sixers last night because, well, we think the Celtics were the better team, and B, Philly had been horrible at home. Well, isn't that the Sabres-Bruins series? We think Buffalo's the better team, and my goodness, it was Boston lousy at home in their 2 home playoff games. Oh, my goodness, lousy. So we go into the game tonight thinking, now, Boston's not going to win at home. Really? They just went into Buffalo and played a perfect playoff game. Perfect playoff game. They have the better goalie. Okay. Why can't they? All they have to do is win 1 game. And talk about sphincters being tight in Buffalo if they could win tonight. Ooh.
No doubt there. No doubt there, David.
You and I are both rooting for the Sabres pretty hard because they.
And it's not an anti-Boston thing.
Not at all.
You could blame me for most of my life. This has nothing to do with that. Is it going to make me happier? Sure. But this is about Buffalo. They deserve this. They really do. I'm not knocking you because Boston fan, 1, you've had a ton of championships, and 2, deep down, do you really think this Bruin team can hoist a cup? Because I don't.
No.
Even if they win this series.
But let me tell you, you and I were both rooting for Buffalo to win in 5. Now, I'm rooting for Buffalo, but I'm rooting for a game Sunday in Buffalo because that would be drama.
No doubt. And I will say, look, and I want Tampa to come back and win too. But if Boston were to do it and Montreal finishes it off, it's one of the unsung rivalries in all of sport. The Bruins and the Canadians absolutely, positively hate one another.
Correct.
I mean, the Boston, you pin a Bruin fan down and say, who's the team you hate? It's Les Habitants. I'm telling you right now. They hate them.
It comes with the sweater. It's just like Giants Dodgers. It just comes with the uniform. Now, I don't think we're going to have that, but And I actually like Buffalo tonight, but it'll be interesting to see. We had 5 game 6s yesterday. We got 6 of them today. And how many game 7s do we get out of it?
And Moulton, for the record, likes the Magic plus 3.5. If we're pinning him down on a Florida bet, he's going with Orlando plus 3.5 against the Pistons. There you have it. The Pro Hour on the other side for our Tampa and Jacksonville market. For those markets that we're leaving, you can join us. YouTube.com/Miller and Moulton, Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hey, Empire, I'd love to see your Sixers win. That would be great. I will say it'd be disappointing for the league. I mean, because a Knicks Celtics series is going to be a really well-watched series for the NBA. I mean, you're going to get, if you watch the 4-letter network, you're going to get killed with that series. They're not even going to talk about OKC and Minnesota. Now,
I think it's Spurs, Minnesota.
no, Spurs, Minnesota. You're right. They will talk about OKC as long as the Lakers win that series. If the Lakers lose, it'll be Boston and the Knicks. And what are the Lakers going to do with LeBron? Is he coming back? Because God forbid they have to talk about basketball.
Canada Relief, they're probably going to finish the year because PIF says they'll fund the rest of the year. But I believe their last tournament is the end of August.
Correct. You are right. And they said the PIF or the Live people, they're going to go out and try to get sponsors. Good luck. I got better odds on the UFL.
The other thing that's difficult to see is, remember, Bryson's contract's up. If they don't go under, I think they have to pay Rom like $300 million. I don't see how they can find the sponsorship to pay the golfers. Never mind just come up with a weekly purse just to do a tournament. So,
I mean, unless the drug cartels want to start sponsoring this.
Right. Unless, yeah.
No, I don't think so either, DC. I don't.
The irony here is unless the PGA Tour really cuts Rahm a break, he's probably going to have to play the DP World Tour, which means he will end up playing at least 6 events as opposed to 4. So the DP World Tour will get exactly what they wanted, 6+ events out of them and the fine.
And the fine, David.
Right.
And the fine that he's basically thrown a double. He's thrown an Eli at them.
Well, he said he'd pay the fine if he only had to pay 4 events. But
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
it is the Pro Hour, the bonus hour, the final hour of Miller and Moulton for the week on this 1st of May. The Oaks tonight, the Derby tomorrow. We had Dick Girardi yesterday, Kurt Becker today. Feel free to download if you missed any of what they had to say, who it is they liked and didn't like. I got to admit, they like different horses. So it's interesting in that sense. If you want 2 totally different opinions about this race, Dick Girardi yesterday, Kurt Becker today. Eventually, go to millerandmoulton.com. It'll be there.
Your pick is the Denon Bourbon there, right?
Right.
I'm going with Commandment.
So you're going with the 6 horse. I'm going with the 7. We're side by side, aren't we?
If it was a year ago, I could make a little comment about that, but I'm not. That thing's passed. That's dead. All right. Just want to let you know.
I had a run with the Derby, doing really well. Hasn't been lately. In fact, at your house party, I had probably the worst beat I've had in the last 20 years.
I was going to say that was the end of your Derby run, I think, because you you were on a roll. You picked 2 or 3 winners in a row, and I haven't had a run at the Derby in like 20 years. Like literally, my time on radio has been horrible. I had a really good run when I wasn't doing this for a living of winning on the Derby. But yeah, who was that horse, David?
It was the horse that got disqualified, that won
Right.
and got DQ'd. I had talked about for a couple days on the radio. That was my horse. And then sure enough, Mark does a little thing for non-entertainment purposes only, in which I reached into a hat and got that horse. So and the horse wins. Yeah, DQ'd after the fact.
Was that Maximum Security?
I think so.
2019, I'm seeing.
It sucked. It absolutely sucked. I mean, it was only like, what had it been, over 100 years since, they DQ'd the winner of the Derby? I mean, I'm thinking, come on, no. Okay, they're doing an inquiry. They do this all the time. All right, yeah. Mm-hmm. I will say
it's a joke to do it in that race. There's so much crap that goes on. There's so much bumping. It is the most violent horse race that there is because the field is so damn big.
Yeah. And it was muddy.
It's really what Kurt Becker said about the one horse. Renegade's the one horse. And while Dick Gerard said he doesn't worry about the one because of the new gate, okay. And Kurt Becker acknowledged the new gate. He just said flat out, it's a horse that likes to come from behind. It's in the one spot. It's tougher, he thinks, to do that. So
unless the rail opens up for you, and every now and then it does. In fact, was it last year, the year before, we saw a horse basically come up on the inside, and it was like, wow. You never see that. There's never room on the inside to come up. You always have the jockey looking over his right shoulder. You never have the jockey looking over his left going, what the? So we shall see. I've got Denon Bourbon. You're going with Commandment.
I'm going with Commandment.
And Kurt Becker's going with Further Ado, right?
Further Ado.
Right. He's got Commandment in the money, but he's going with Further Ado. Dick Girardi, for what it's worth, like the Bourbon.
Japanese horse.
Yeah.
Kentucky bred. Japanese horse.
Technically would be the first Japanese horse to win the Derby. Had a horse 2 years ago, finished third. I think that's the best finish from a quote-unquote Japanese horse.
The Oaks, they were in agreement on the Oaks, David.
Yes.
They were in agreement on the Oaks, which is tonight. And I believe they're both taking the favorite, if I'm not mistaken, Explora. And I see it at 9-1. Forever Gray is Dave Portnoy's horse. He will be there. I love gray horses. I do.
Okay.
If I'm blindly betting a race and it's a gray horse, I'm in. But the one thing I read yesterday and getting ready for Kurt Becker, because I know he's ready for the Oaks, is that because Portnoy has a horse in the race, and Becker mentioned it, it means a lot of people who are not into horse racing are betting that horse because they like him.
Right.
And that brings the odds. I guess that horse was at like 5-6-1. And I read where it should probably be somewhere between 15 and 20-1 based on talent. So take that for what it's worth. Explora, the early morning odds, 9-1. I don't know what it is now. That's off the Louisville Courier Journal, David, not off the Twin Spires site.
Oh, I understand. Well, you're going to the site you can really trust.
So bet as you will this weekend. The Oaks is late tonight in prime time, first time ever. I think that's very cool. Derby post is usually about 20-7.
Yeah. At least, or 10-7, 5-7 even. They've been going late. But they go later when they have something to lead into. Does NBC have a game at 7:15 or 7:30 tomorrow? Because they like to take the Derby and go right into a game if they have it. Like I remember, Mark, they took the Belmont and went as late as they could with it because they wanted it to lead right into the Rangers LA Kings Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, they got a little basketball game tomorrow night. Sixers Celtics game 7.
Right.
So, yeah.
So the Derby might be a little later. They might try to lead that sucker into the game as tight as possible.
So there you go. That's tomorrow night. What do we have? 6 game sixes tonight, 3 in each sport. NBA, NHL, 3 game sixes, none more important to us than the Lightning and the Canadians. We kind of spent the last segment really breaking down a couple of different things. The Lightning power play, the Lightning in the defensive zone. The one thing we've mentioned several times, and I've been bigger on it than you, David, Vasilevsky to me has not been Vasilevsky in this series. He's had moments where he is, but I don't think he's had 60 minutes where he is. What we expect of maybe the world's best goaltender.
Yeah, ironically, I think the best game he played was game 3 when they lost in overtime. The shot in overtime, nobody was stopping, and he was amazing in that game. He stopped 4 breakaways in that game alone, just to keep him in it.
Here's another question, David. We think Vasilevsky is the best there is right now. I don't know if that's for sure true at this point anymore, but if they lose tonight, how can you say that ever again? I'm serious. Like, is he still if they lose again in the first round?
Well, here's the irony that the NHL awards are regular season awards, because I was listening to, an NHL radio show the other day in which they said, well, my vote for MVP is Kucherov and my vote for the Vezina, best goalie, is Vasilevsky. And they go, that's not going to look good at the awards dinner if one more game happens the way this series has happened.
Yeah, I've said for the longest time, I don't think Kucherov's going to get the MVP. I think you're right that he's deserving. I think it's going to be the closest vote. And I don't know if they release the vote. The vote will be incredibly close because McDavid's going to get his votes. I think McKinnon will win it.
Agreed.
But it's really a crapshoot. And, you've listened to a lot of NHL radio, which is either, a blessing or a curse. I'm not sure which.
Right.
But there are plenty of people that think what you think, that have votes.
Yeah. I'm stunned. The more I listen, the more people say that they have voted or are voting for Kucherov. I'm like, wow. But yet you and I both think that they won't give it to a Russian. And they'll give it to, first off, McDavid and McKinnon both had amazing years. And McKinnon's the best player on the best team in the league. I mean, it's tough to fault it if Nathan McKinnon wins the Hart. I mean, it really is. But 3 very deserving winners. That is for sure. I just want to throw this out there. If the Lightning lose, to me, this organization will be at the point they were 7 years ago. 2018, they lost in the conference finals to the Caps. 2019, they win the President's Trophy and get swept by the Blue Jackets. And we all wondered, boy, what are they going to do? They're going to blow this core up? Because this core, 2015 went to the finals, 2018 went to the conference finals. I mean, this core had a resume. But are they going to blow it up? And you know what they basically did? They brought it back, and they added some grit at the deadline.
But they don't lack grit on this team.
I know, but I'm just saying, now we advance 7 years later. They lose tonight. What do they do as an organization? What do they do? I think they'll be at the same crisis point they were 7 years ago. They were younger then, so they decided to just roll it back. They're older now.
No,
what do they do?
And the easy answer is you run it back and you say Hedman was hurt. We'll have Hedman back. But Radish is a free agent. There's no guarantee they're keeping him. And there's no damn way he has as good a year next year as he did this year.
Or ever. Right. Yeah, I don't think they'll keep him. Somebody will have more money and will pay him. So they're going to lose Radish, who's one of their 2 best defensemen right now. Okay. I mean, I just, do you have to make a bold move like the Panthers did when they made that Tkachuk deal and gave up 2 really big parts to do it? I just think it'll be fascinating, the off season that the Lightning will have if they can't win this series.
And is Kucherov the guy that you have to try to give up to get the youth that you want in good players? And who would take them for what? I mean, I know everybody puts in, get him for McDavid. That's not happening. Stop that.
The one thing I will say, Mark, it's a horrible free agent year in the NHL. Horrible. There's virtually no one to spend your money on.
But now think, if you're Buffalo or you're Montreal, are you trading youth to Tampa to get a Kucherov? I don't think that's what you need. So I don't know where,
Right. I don't know the place. I don't know the player. I mean, seriously, you and I are going to the bar if we're running the Lightning, and we are going to go on a 3-day bender.
I'll have a club soda with a lime, please.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ron and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Empire. Stamkos is 36 years old. That ain't the answer, brother. I know you love him. I get it. That's not the answer. You've got to get younger, not older. I don't think they can, RCB. I really don't. I don't think they're going to trade him. Oh, there's no doubt. They're old too, Mr. Spivey, but I mean, you're getting a healthy, essentially you think you're going to get a healthy Barkov back. So A lot of different circumstances. They couldn't afford Gretzky. I mean, you're talking about a different era. The owner couldn't afford him. He had to get rid of him. He was trying to save the franchise. So very different. Of course, could it happen? But I just don't see. I don't see that happening. Flip it around, RCB. What would it take for you to give up McDavid? Just go that route. Let's just say Edmonton's open to it, which I don't think they are. You're Edmonton. What is it you would say yes to?
Oh, God.
Right. I mean, you start at Kucherov and probably Point, and then we're going to keep going.
I don't know if the Lightning could actually put a package together that Edmonton would agree to. I think maybe some other organizations could, but I'm not sure they could.
Put it this way, San Jose might be the team. You know what I'm saying, Dave?
Right.
It's like I want Celebrini and I want the other kid that you got. I mean, yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, a year from now, when he only has 1 year left on his contract, I think it would be easier.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. The good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts. We'll recap our Derby picks. All coming up. Just want to throw something out there. You, I think, believe that Houston's going to come all the way back, right? Against the Lakers?
I think they're going to force a game 7. I do.
Okay.
Anything can happen then, but yes, I think they're going to force a game 7.
I mean, Sunday. Just throwing this out there. I mean, could be LeBron's last game. I mean, I certainly could be his last game as a Laker, but he's 41. Also, there's seriously, just quick sidebar. Who's going to want him? Remember, for what you're going to pay, he ain't going to give you an Aaron Rodgers, $13 million to be a starting quarterback deal. LeBron's not going to give somebody a 1 year, $10 million deal to fit comfortably into their cap situation. But seriously, you bring in LeBron as a hired gun to put you over the top. Who's that team? And is he even interested in him? Okay.
If they can't get Giannis, I'm just,
asked.
No. I think that's a possibility.
Okay. But how far does he take him?
I don't know. And David, the only thing I would say, I don't know if it's LeBron's last game. And hear me out. This may be a little bit my annoyance with him, not the player, the guy.
Right.
I don't see LeBron going out without a tour. I don't. There's nothing about this guy that doesn't say, I'm the GOAT. Remember, I'm great because I said so. I'm the best. I can't see this guy just walking away without a tour.
Because, he loves me some me.
He loves me some me.
Right. Okay. And that's certainly fair. And listen, he certainly loves me some me. And I think he'll talk about himself in the third person when he's retired. But
in fact, I think he's working with ESPN right now to get a 6-part documentary done on his life.
It'd be interesting if it's ESPN because I think he wants to kill Stephen A. Smith with his bare hands or with a big pen by stabbing him in the neck. But that's a whole other story for another day. Listen, do I think he wants to play another year from what he said? Yeah, I do. But, physically, he has even said it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, he's old, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What he's doing at this age is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay?
And
Take your personal thoughts about him if you dislike
Right.
him. Just put him. He is 41 doing what he's doing out there. It's pretty damn impressive. It
and
really is.
he's without Luca and the other guy too.
Rivers.
Yeah, they're without two of their top 3 players. But first of all, I'm just curious where, and yeah, it's Reeves, not Rivers. But I know what
Reeves,
you
I'm
meant.
sorry.
First off, I mean, this sounds crazy, I know, but who's going to want him? Come on now, he's going to start. He's going to play. He wants the ball's got to be, in his hands half the time. I'm just curious, what team he's going to want to win.
All right. Let me just throw this at you. This is from left field. But Orlando wins tonight. Detroit does not have enough scoring. Would they want him? There's a team that was just the 1 seed. He could help them win a championship. I don't think he would. I don't think they can beat Oklahoma City. But again, for his legacy, he would have then done it in all these cities. That means a lot to him. I'm just throwing that out there.
You think he fits with the Pistons?
No, but they got to find a scorer to go with Cade, okay? Would he go back to Cleveland for another shot at?
Well, that'll be very interesting because let me tell you something. They got to get to the NBA Finals this year. And if they don't,
could get a big break because they don't have to. I mean, I think they beat Detroit anyhow. I've said that for about a month, but they could be getting Orlando.
Exactly. But that'll get them to the conference finals. But let's just say that that's all they do. Donovan Mitchell's got 1 or 2 years left on his deal after this year. I mean, does LeBron return home? Try to get it done with Cleveland again?
I think Cleveland if I were to make it, if there are odds on it, I'd be curious to see what Cleveland and Miami's odds are.
But just throwing that out there. If Houston wins tonight and it's Game 7 Sunday, I don't know, might be worth a half hour of your time because it could very well be LeBron James' last game.
By the way, another little, speaking of teams or players that you really dislike, let's talk Duke basketball for a second.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you see the deal Duke made? They signed an exclusive with Amazon. First college team to ever do that. Somehow they have the rights to 3 neutral site games that they play. November 25th against UConn in Vegas. December 21st against Michigan at Madison Square Garden. And February 20th against Gonzaga, and that game's in Detroit for whatever reason. Those will all be on Amazon Prime.
Interesting.
So Amazon Prime, which has not done any college anything, getting more sports properties. We do talk a little more TV than most shows. Amazon Prime getting in the college basketball world. And who else would you want to do it with other than Duke? If the only other one you'd want is Kentucky. And come on, Kentucky, when they can be something more than a Sweet 16 team, let me know.
Yeah, Kentucky just got beat out for the supposed best player in the country who went to Kansas for next year. So, Bill Self has certainly lost his touch. And by touch,
they've lost their checkbook.
Right. And by touch, I mean the money's still flowing in Lawrence. Miller and Moulton. Quick, just throwing this out there, unrelated to what we've just discussed. Did you see the story? There's an MLS franchise apparently in Vancouver, and it's struggling.
Right. Might be going to
Whitecaps.
Vegas. We talked about it last week or early this week for a half a second.
Well, think about that. Think about that. I mean, what isn't in Vegas? And the funny thing is the people who cover the strip, the people who cover the Vegas economy are talking about Vegas is really struggling. Vegas has serious issues, blah, blah, blah. And yet Everybody's moving there.
Right. And that they're not playing, from the report I read, they're not playing where the Raiders play. That there's going to be a new facility built for the soccer team. So they're, they've got the NBA team or the NHL team that would host the NBA team. So they wouldn't need a new venue for that. But they just built a new facility for the Raiders. They're in the process of building a facility for the Athletics and building a soccer stadium.
Now, I don't think the way it made it sound is the guy who's purchasing this Vancouver team has got so much money, he's not asking for any money. At least that's the initial reports. No, I'm just going to do this on my own. But no, we're building our own facility. Wow. Really? Huh. Can you believe, will the NBA be the last team to go to Vegas? How hysterical is that? Going back 10 years, we thought, well, if Vegas ever gets a team, ... what sport would it be, Mark?
Well, it was the NBA. Obviously, they've had summer league there for a while. There was always talk of it, but the NHL comes, the Raiders come. We'll see whenever the athletics facility is done. But yes, and when I mentioned before, they've had a WNBA team for a while. They're going to have 6 franchises, basically, the 4 major pro sports, and the next 2 biggest leagues in this country. I'm not talking about college pro leagues, are MLS and the WNBA. They'll have all of them. All of them, David.
And they have a NASCAR race there, even.
And an F1 race.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Miller and Moulton. Holy Toledo.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Trutharian, they are up, but it's kind of convoluted because you also have all those games on Prime, so they're not up the way they probably should be, if you know what I mean. We talked about it, I want to say, earlier in the week, but their numbers are up, but they're not up as much. Like the NHL numbers are through the roof year to year. The NBA numbers, while regular season numbers were apparently way up, the playoff numbers have been up, but not up as high.
Right. I thought I saw like 3% that they were early was relatively flat, but you're right. Going 6 and 7 will help.
And Prime's got to hurt. I mean, I'm sorry that can't help your ratings.
No.
Well, I'll tell you what, Montreal gets tonight. Montreal can beat Carolina. I'll tell you that right now. That's a good hockey team.
Well,
and I know who was it? Go Raiders was all over them all year. I think that's the one. I think that's the guy. You're right. They're better than I thought they were. Their depth is better than I thought it was.
Well, doesn't the winner of Tampa Bay Montreal play the winner of Buffalo Boston?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I think if they were, I think that's a toss up. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care who Montreal plays.
Oh, you were just talking about how far you think they could go.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he just said, is a Canadian team ever going to win another cup? I mean, I don't know if Carolina, Buffalo, Tampa, Montreal can beat, because I don't think the Flyers can beat Carolina. I'm not trying to knock the Flyers here. But of the 4 teams that I think are the best teams in the East, I don't know if any of them can beat Colorado. But then again, I think the Wild are going to give Colorado everything they want. I do.
Well, I'll just throw this out there. The last 2 times the Canadians have won the Cup, the best team in the league got upset in the playoffs. In '86, that was Edmonton. The Steve Smith own goal, Calgary knocked them off. You ended up beating Calgary in the final. In '93, the Penguins were the best team. And they blew that series to the Islanders, which was good for Montreal because then they played the Islanders in the conference final and then got the LA Kings instead of getting the Maple Leafs, who were probably better, but Gretzky wouldn't allow it.
Wasn't it the McSorley 2 minutes for a legal stick year?
Yeah, it was 93 finals, game 2.
Yeah. So David, probably my oldest friend, and I've known him since I was 3, my softball pitcher buddy, sends me a link, wants me to listen to a podcast. Come on. Been friends with Doug for 53 years, for Christ's sake. Man's never asked me for anything.
Right.
I listened because he asked me, did you listen? So I finally listened. Took my whole 5-mile walk yesterday, by the way, because it was an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I learned more about hopping, dragging, and crow hopping in softball pitching than I ever thought I would. My God, was it long. And it was about softball and pitching. And I really didn't care. But as a nice guy, I listened.
Wow.
But he did say one thing about that I loved, and I'm going to send it to people who have kids playing softball and kids that play travel sports and maybe my wife. He said every kid should take a month away where they don't touch a ball.
Yep.
And he goes, my best pitchers were all multi-sport athletes.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done for the day, for the week. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Got a lot going on this weekend. Game 6 is tonight. How many game 7s do we get over the weekend? Got the Derby tomorrow. Now we're into the month of May. Let's see who can get fired this weekend in Major League Baseball.
Got a weekend pass again, David. I got my 2 TVs, and I'm going to need them. Days are dwindling down for my time in Tampa. Only one more show here from the Hope Lodge. Wednesday will be my final show from here. Monday and Tuesday, I'll be at home. Already talked to Raj. It's his last and only show he's got to do in the studios there at Sun Broadcasting for us because we're set and ready to go with what we're doing.
Okay.
Had my meetings last week with the Audio One folks to get everything up and running correctly. We're venturing out on our own, David. We're all grown up.
Well, we'll see about that.
Love the support.
No, it's not what I meant. It just, it just kind
It's
of
that
fit.
time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
I didn't mean it like that, or at least I hope so. Okay, I just said it because, it kind of fit. You were talking and then you said, we're all's grown up. We'll see about that. But
Big day in David Moulton's world today in 1840. The first adhesive postage stamp was issued by the UK.
That's so true.
Cy Young wins the first game played at Cleveland's Lead Park today in 1891. The Spiders, which should be their name now, beat the Redlegs from Cincinnati 12-3.
Oh, you are so right. The Cleveland fan wanted that so much more than this. Plus, don't you think, we said this before, shouldn't the Washington football team and the Cleveland baseball team switch?
Yes. Yes, they should. All right, today in 1915, the Lusitania left New York for Liverpool. Didn't work out all that well.
No, it didn't.
Babe Ruth hits his first home run for the Yankees today in 1920 in a 6-0 victory against his former club, the Red Sox. At 19 today in 1926, Satchel Paige debuts in Chattanooga. Also today in 26, maybe a little more noteworthy, Ford becomes the first company in America to adopt the 5-day, 40-hour work week for its workers in the automotive factories. Believe it or not, the office workers didn't get it until the following August. The Empire State Building opened today as the world's tallest building. 1931, the World Trade Center would pass it in 1970. Batman makes his debut in Detective Comics number 27 today in 1939. Today on WAHR 1490 AM in Miami Beach in 1957, David, Larry King makes his debut.
Hello.
1967, in front of 14 guests, Elvis marries Priscilla. He met her in 1959. She was 14.
Right.
Just saying.
Yep. Just. We'll just
Facts,
leave it there.
kids. Just
Leave
pointing
it
it
there.
out.
Yep. Leave it there.
1981, Billie Jean King becomes the first prominent female athlete in the U.S. to come out as gay. Kind of a big deal in 81.
Well, especially since she was married to a Major League Baseball pitcher.
After scoring 50 in game 1 today in 1988, Jordan scores 55 to become the first to score 50-plus points in consecutive playoff games.
What year was that?
1988,
Trying to think who he did it against.
Cleveland.
Oh, that's right. Oh, they were good too. Jeez.
Today in 91, a couple of things. The first one, baseball for David. Nolan Ryan records his 7th no-hitter. He was 44.
122 pitches.
And at night on MTV in 1991, the great show Unplugged had its first rap show. De La Soul, MC Light, A Tribe Called Quest, but the show was brought down by one LL Cool J in a shirtless rendition of Mama Said Knock You Out. Charismatic won the Derby today in 99. Charismatic would win the Preakness, lose the Belmont by about a quarter length. And maybe even less than that, because I want to say the Belmont was a photo finish and Charismatic lost. Also today in 99, on Nickelodeon, Who Lives in a Pineapple Under the Sea? SpongeBob SquarePants made its debut.
Goodness.
Gladiator premiered today in 2000. Barry Bonds in 2000 becomes the first to hit a home run in San Francisco Bay. He would hit 35 there during his career in San Francisco. Calamity Jane, Kate Smith, Flyer fans, and Chuck Bednarik would have all celebrated birthdays today. That last one was for you, David. Jockey Steve Cawthon is 65, singer Tim McGraw 59, Curtis Martin 53, Wes Welker's 45, and Chet Holmgren's 24. What did I miss, David?
Nothing. I just kept checking off all the ones. I'm like, look at this.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We got a cat for the good. A family in Georgia, at the time living in California, on their way to Florida, win Dodger. Their cat, that's a good name for a California cat, I got to be honest with you, escaped a friend's vehicle in the Fresno area. 7 years later, a volunteer with the Fresno Trap and Release found a cat, and it was microchipped. Turned out to be Dodger. The family moved from Florida to Georgia. They reunited Dodger with the family. For the bad, we go to Connecticut, where a Connecticut woman is searching for peacock. No, not the network. Her pet peacock that escaped from a farm more than a week ago and has been spotted all over town, but they haven't been able to coop up the 2-year-old peacock. Any of you in Connecticut that see a loose peacock and you don't want to pay $11.99 a month for it, please report it. Finally, the ugly, and I will say a sidebar. I was going to go with the J.P. Morgan sex slave scandal as my ugly. Turns out the whole claim's bogus. The woman who was accused of drugging a male staffer and forcing this guy to having sex with her. And let me just say, there was one part of this story that she did you-know-what to him without him being able to stop it. I think you know what I'm talking about. And I really want to know how that's possible. Just saying. Anyhow, that story was completely bogus, so we had to switch and we go to Malaysia, where a French teen is facing mischief and public nuisance charges in Singapore after posting a video on social media of himself licking a straw from an orange juice vending machine and then putting it back. This is in Malaysia. Are you an idiot? They could probably shoot you for that. But the mischief carries a penalty of up to 2 years in prison. And Didier Maximilian, at 18, was charged with the mischief and public nuisance charges. Throw the book at Malaysia.
Yeah.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly. On May Day, May the 1st, it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Offering great pay, a signing bonus of up to 10 grand. Come on, it's in the Cape. If you're in Jacksonville or Tampa looking for a new gig, CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com.
All right. How many game sevens do we get in the NBA? Pistons down 3-2 in Orlando tonight. A 3.5 point favorite. Okay. Cleveland up 3-2 in Toronto. Do the Raptors force a game 7?
They do not.
Lakers, having lost 2 in a row, but still up 3-2 in the series in Houston. Do the Rockets force a game 7?
They do.
So you think Detroit and Houston force game 7s, Cleveland wraps it up?
Yes.
I agree with you on Houston. I'll go with all the home teams tonight in the NBA to win. Orlando, Toronto, and Houston. All right, hockey. This is the money game. Game 6. Lightning need a win or they're done. 4th year in a row in the first round. Tampa Bay at Montreal. My $20.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is over tonight. I shouldn't. The series has been so close that there's no reason why Tampa can't win. But come on, Kucherov, have a game, man.
It should be over tonight based on how the series has gone. Mark, I just have a feeling. Kind of like Crenshaw at the Ryder Cup.
I hope your feeling's right.
Give me the Lightning tonight.
Hope we're all eating frog legs, but I don't think we are.
Do the Bruins force a game 7?
No.
I'm with you. I think Buffalo gets the handshake tonight. Vegas at Utah. Can the Mammoth force a game 7?
Yes, they can, David. Yes, they can.
Yeah, we see that one the same way. I actually think Utah has been the better team in the series, and Vegas has ham and egged the last 2 overtime wins, to be honest.
I'm picking 1 in hockey, 2 in hoop, as far as game 7s go. David's picking 2 in hockey, 1 in hoop.
No, I got 2 in hoop. I got Toronto and Houston. I got all
you
the
got
home
Toronto
teams.
Winning too?
Oh, yeah. No, I got all the home teams in the NBA. And
okay,
I
so you got 4 game 7s out of 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Because we got Bupkis so far this week. You know, Flyers made sure in overtime we didn't get a game 7. And of all the games last night,
Just the Sixers.
Only the Sixers. So, yeah, no, we got to get some game 7s, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
What do we got? Rays hosting the Giants. That's a fun one.
And the Marlins
on the bump tonight.
Marlins hosting the Phillies. That's interesting. They've won 3 in a row since they fired. And also it's former Marlins manager Don Mattingly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming back as the Phillies interim. Couple series of interest. So the Mets have lost 17 of 20. And the Angels have lost 10 of 11.
By the way, this series is only of interest to Dave Moulton because no one else gives a damn.
No. I'm just mentioning this. Right now, they are the 2 teams that are spiraling the worst. They're just playing each other. Would it be something? Could the Braves streak of winning every series they play end in Colorado?
No damn way.
Sail on the Hill Saturday for Atlanta in that series. But not a great marquee baseball weekend. Getting a lot of press in New York. The Orioles in the Bronx because Pete Alonso, the former Met, it's his first return to New York, even though it's not against the Mets, the Yankees.
By the way, record-wise, I'd say maybe the 2 best series in baseball. D-backs and Cubs and Reds and Pirates?
Yep. Pirates have lost
Toledo.
Pirates have lost 4 in a row, and they're not going to have Skeens going this weekend in Cincinnati. This is their first crisis of the year.
And they got swept when they were in Cincinnati. So this is a chance for a little revenge just basically a week later.
So there you have it. Once again, for the Derby, I like Dan and Bourbon.
And I'm going with Commandment.
Dick Girardi went with Bourbon, and Kurt Becker went with Further Ado. So there you go.
Enjoy the Oaks tonight. A bunch of game 6s in the NBA or the NHL, whatever your pleasure is. Good luck betting the Derby tomorrow. The Cadillac and golf. Full weekend of baseball. Hopefully we have some game 7s to talk about on Monday. Have a great weekend, Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Well, Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com.
This is Miller & Moulton.
Rick, thank you for everything again. You have been a god